Testing the audio levels. 1, 2. 1, 2. The audio levels are appropriate. Okay. It looks like we are live. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be just working. This is my work day. It's a lot of staring at a screen. It's a lot of working. I have quite a few things that I would like to accomplish with my game Goobuddies today, so I'm just going to try and power through a few things here. So, hello if you're there watching. What I have been working on, I stayed up pretty late. I was working until 2 a.m. So the progress that I'm making here on Goobuddies is, I'll just run this and we'll show the functionality that's been added in here. If we enter the egg menu now, you can see the percentages of the eggs. The eggs pick up a copy genetic data from their environment. You can see this one's at 30%, 0%. If we try to hatch one, it'll say it's totally blank. If we try to hatch one that's 30%, it says it's not ready. Let's go ahead and pick one, and you can see an element icon next to the egg itself. I'll go ahead and pick one. So this one is ice element. It can pick up multiple elements, and the most pronounced element that the egg is picked up will become the dominant element. Oh right, let me turn up my microphone then. Let's see the audio levels now. Can you hear it? Is it better now? Is the music too loud? Thanks for letting me know. How are the audio levels now? Is that better? Testing 1, 2. The audio 1, 2. Thank you very much for that. So we're going to try to hatch this one, and you can see there's different shapes for the eggs. So they're not all just the one egg type. When you first play the game, you're not really going to know any of the species, but you start to learn which Goobuddy species have certain strengths and certain weaknesses, and eventually you'll figure out, oh, I know which Goobuddy I want. This one is good for, debuffing the enemy. This one's good for a certain type of offense, So after you figure out the Goobuddy species, then you start trying to pair it up with certain eggs. You can see that the different shape of the egg will give it a boost to certain types of stats. So let's try to hatch this one. Hey, knee pain. I haven't heard from you in a while. It's good to see you. Good to see you back at it. I agree, hard to hear you, especially with the music. Thank you for letting me know. I'll turn the music down. Now I have the microphone turned up, but I'll see if I can boost gain on the microphone, and hopefully that's a bit better. All right, so let's try to hatch this, and we'll see what happens. So this one has picked up ice element. You can see it does display the color there. I don't have any animations or particle effects yet. You'll see that the egg just disappears, and a Goobuddy has hatched. Now the Goobuddy is sent to the ranch, and if I enter the stats menu, you can see that I don't have the programming complete yet. He's supposed to be born with some actions, but he does not have any. And also, all of his stats also ignore the egg. He also is the slime element, which is not what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be ice element, according to the egg. So what I'm going to be working on next is programming the game so that you can take the properties of the egg itself, and then the Goobuddy that hatches will have the properties. That's going to take a while. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do all of it here on stream, because it does take a fair bit of focus and time, and it just depends on how much we're hanging out and chatting here. So I'm going to open up uh, Visual Studio, and I will find the logic for that. That's the home base manager that manages all the inputs. I need my game manager, so I'm just going to close out some things. Now I'm going to open game manager, and this has the function attempt hatch egg into party. And if you don't mind me, I have Digimon Story Time Stranger just sitting here off to the side. I'm just going to make sure no one at my Digifarm needs to have their training resumed. No? Okay, so I'm just going to leave that. I'll leave that sitting. I wait. You can close the screen, come back to it, half an hour, and if your Digimon need their training resumed, you can get back to it. Okay, so I will, first thing we want to do is follow our logic here. We have add party member from primer. Now, in the programming of the game, these are referred to as primers. They're not referred to as eggs. They're called primers because they sort of prime a, a party member to be added to the party. And I hope the volume isn't too loud on the vocals here, so just let me know. Just try and find something a bit chill music here. Let's go. Ruby rhythm music. So we have in member, that's add member from primer. Hey, Mojave Knight. Good to see you here just in time. Right. So the first thing we want to do is add the elements. We just started. Okay. In member, and we want the variant ID. Now, internally, the elements are referred to as variants in case I want to use this framework for another game, and I don't want to use the term element, but I did mess up because I work on this quite late. Sometimes I refer to it as element, so I have to keep that in mind. I did make some mistakes, nobody's perfect, and that's what happens when you work very late. So what we did is we hatched a Goobuddy, and the variant did not match the egg. So we wanted the in member that refers to the Goobuddy that's being hatched, and the primer. And the primer, again, is the genetic data that comes from the egg, is equal to target variant, which is the element. And so I'll show you some logic for the primer. Again, the primer is all of the data that it's a class that's used to store the data for the egg itself. So when we add a new egg to the inventory, we reset the primer values, but we have an array of integers here, which I need to reset now because I haven't reset that yet. So the elemental exposure, you can expose your egg to different elements in the environment, and the element that has the highest value is the one that will become the element of the Goobuddy. See, I made a mistake and referred to as element there. It should be variant. I could potentially go back and fix it, but it doesn't super matter. So we want to reset all of those, right? Um, and you can cheese it. You can sort of cheat. I can copy the flow, but I'll just type it out. For I is equal to 0. I is a value that's used for iterating, and I is what's an element exposure.length, and I plus plus. And then what we want to do is set all those values to 0. That resets all of the values. And we also want to do that for environmental exposure as well. So you can sort of drop that in there. I can save myself a little bit of time by copying and pasting, and that just saves a little bit of typing. So let's go ahead. The logic that we added, hopefully now when we hatch the egg, the Goobuddy will have the element that we're looking for. Penguin, hello. How's it going? Mojave Knight, cool. I appreciate that. Thanks for that. It's great to hang out. I was working till very late, till about 2 a.m. last night, working on the egg thing. Um, Taya, how's it going? Hey, new subscriber, welcome. I'm glad to see you. I noticed some mean comments on some of your other game development videos, and just wanted to say that I hope you aren't letting them get you down. I love what you've shown. I appreciate that. Look, people are going to either like something or dislike it, and it doesn't, that doesn't matter. That's totally fine. It doesn't bother me. When you make anything and then you put it online, of course you're going to have people say negative things. That doesn't matter. Um, you just keep doing what you believe in, you do what you care about, and there's always room for improvement as well. You also have to be careful not to just sort of tune things out and to pat yourself on the back and pretend that you're the best. You can't do that because you can end up um, sort of pigeonholing yourself and tricking yourself into thinking that you don't need to improve. But we can always improve. We can always get better. So I'm going to open the egg menu here. This time we're going to try to hatch the ice element egg. See how this one is ice? So let's go ahead and hatch that. The egg is light blue for ice, and we'll see if the Goobuddy comes out. Now, this graphic here, when the Goobuddy hatches, I did not set that to change, but when we return to the ranch, our logic works. That looks like it is working. So now let's go ahead and I hope let me know if the voice is too loud. Let me know if the music isn't loud enough. So that logic now works, but now what we need to do is add some we want to add particle effects to the egg hatching because we want to obscure the transition between the egg and the Goobuddy, and we want to have the Goobuddy that hatches the egg also be that element. as well. So let's see what we can do here. So I just want to go to my ranch entity here. And we'll hatch a couple more just to make sure our logic is working properly. We have setup, audition, perform physical interaction. Where are our variants? Audition. I want the logic from this guy here. That goo with antlers is so cute. So when your Goobuddy is born, it can have a bunch of different random mutations, and there are also mutations that are the result of the way that you expose the egg. So you have to take the egg around to different environments. During battle, you can actually expose the egg to attacks when um, enemies are performing attacks. So the Goobuddy that hatches is a result of you exposing the egg to different things. I'll show you what it looks like when you interact with them. Of course, there's a lot of placeholder graphics. These icons are not um, finished, they're just placeholders. You can poke them, poke, poke. You can give them a hug. And there's a purple one in here right now that I really quite like this design here. Let's interact with him. Where is he? This is funny when he gets a little stretchy because he's so tall that when you hug him, he stretches out. I think that's pretty funny. And of course, this is you build up um, your bond with the Goobuddy, but also it affects their mood as well, the way that you interact with the Goobuddies there. So again, we'll go to the eggs, like say for example, if we hatch this fire one here, you can see that there needs to be some animation for the egg hatching, and then there needs to be particle effects to obscure the transition between egg and Goobuddy. And there's our new one that is born. Let's go ahead and give him, you're born, have a hug. And I'll show you what it looks like eating food as well. You can buy them and feed them, and it shows them eating their food. And all the food is jelly. What does a Goobuddy eat? I considered that, and I determined, well, a Goobuddy should not eat human food because they probably would not be able to digest it. Goobuddies don't have the same digestive systems as humans, and so Goobuddies naturally would eat jelly. And jelly, in this world, jelly is formed naturally. It's like tree sap. You get jelly from the environment. So there are natural jellies, and then there are jellies that have been sort of cooked and prepared a little bit. So the ones down here are Goobuddies, are food for Goobuddies that have been prepared a bit. Here's a paradise jelly. Yum, 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 yum. Hey, Red Fox, how's it going? Um, I love when creature collectors let you interact one-on-one like that. That's one of my favorite things about monster games is when you get to feel like it's a pet or a friend. There are other things you can do as well. So interacting, you can do physical interactions. I still haven't made the animations for these yet. And there are activities. So you can take them on different activities, and activities boost your stats for the day. They temporarily boost the stats, and you can level up the activities as well. You can see the activity level 1, in 2, it'll go up to 5, I think. And so if you look at the stats menu, see the green numbers here. Those are your temporary boosts. So your base is your permanent stats, and your boosts are what you get from interacting with your Goobuddy. So they reset at the end of the day. So that's a way for you to try to build up your Goobuddy and prepare it for battle. And by doing these activities, that's how you increase your boost level. Got a release window for Goobuddies. I think it'll be early next year. There's a lot that I want to do with this game. There's more species that I want to implement, and I just want to make sure it's really fun, really satisfying. I want to make sure it launches with a lot of content and features. So yeah, I think it's realistically going. I would love if this launched in December, but I know it's not going to happen because I want this game to be really fun. I want there to be a lot of Goobuddies. You can see he's going through the tree, so we'll fix that as well. Oh my god, I want this game right now. I am working so hard on this game because I'm having fun working on it. I'm laughing when I'm making the design. I'll show you. I'll walk through some of the designs, but there's some designs where I've just laughed my butt off. I think it was just hilarious. So you can see he was able to go through the tree, and the reason being is he doesn't have a solid collider. This collider is a trigger. It's what allows the tree to turn invisible if it collides with the camera. So what I'm going to do is just add a collider so the Goobuddies cannot go through the tree. So we'll go with this capsule collider, right? And you can see the representation of this capsule collider. You can see it like so. Just make that an even 5, what I do. And that way, they can't go through the tree. So now, if we run it, anyway, we will eventually see it. The Goobuddy won't go through the tree anymore. He'll bump into it. So, let's see here. BG Glyphs. Hey, how's it going? Hey, welcome. I'm new to your channel. Only been watching for the past month or so. What is the idea of the game you're making? This is a monster raising game, and you engage in different battles. So you go on bounties. The idea is just raise monsters, engage in battles, and make them strong. There's a little bit of lore and story elements, but it's not really heavily story based. It's just a very chill experience where you're raising your monsters and you're building the best teams you possibly can. If you take a look at bounties, there are new missions that are generated every hour, every day, and every week. And the very best rewards are in the weekly battles, and these are giant. Um, they're called Colossus battles, and they have the very best goo gems. Goo gems let you teach your Goobuddies new actions, and they have textiles, and a textile teaches your Goobuddy, or it gives it a new texture. So the mutations that it has coming out of its head affects its textures. And right now I don't have a description that shows what the texture does, but they really change the application of your Goobuddy. For example, stabbies. So if a Goobuddy attacks this guy and makes physical contact, then the enemy that made physical contact with you will take damage because his texture on the stat menu is stabby. There's a lot of other different things as well in terms of textures. And in general, they're only born with one texture, but you can get textiles, and that'll teach it a second texture. And they will stack if you have double textures as well. You only get those from the weekly bounties, and those are extremely difficult. That's a giant Colossus enemy, and you can't grow your own Colossus. They're very powerful. And they're too dangerous. But I want to introduce people to the lore of the world that I came up with, and I think it's something that's just really fun. I think people are really going to enjoy it. Is there anything that make it unique compared to other monster raising sim games? Yes, absolutely. The way that you obtain these creatures is you don't go out and catch them. You have to use a blank egg, which we have here. They're in different shapes, and it's used a system called egg exposure. Uh, and when someone does an attack during battle, you hold, say for example, you hold down, L2, and it holds the egg out, and it egg exposes it to the attack, and it picks up genetic information from the attack, and you can get the egg to actually learn attacks. If there's one attack that you keep exposing it to, it can be born with that battle action, so you can build basically the ultimate Goobuddy. Um, you can travel around different environments and expose your egg to different elements, and that's what allows it to pick up elements. And you basically have a creature that is born because you've taken it on an adventure, and it's picked up genetic data from the environment based on the way that you raised it. It's quite whimsical. The lore of the world is just lighthearted and quite fun, but there are darker elements to it as well, and I enjoy that kind of balance. The battle system is 5-on-5, and so basically, you are building a team, and the way this is very different from other monster raising games is just the battle system and the way that you engage with the battles. Again, missions are different hourly, daily, and weekly, and you get new missions. They refresh in real time, but you can see that you have to build your battle party specifically for those battles. So there's always different and interesting challenges. For example, you might have battles where if your Goobuddy has the echoey texture, then they're okay. Their stats will be fine. But if they don't have the echoey texture, then their stats are going to be significantly lowered. There are going to be elements to the environment as well where certain elements, if you are a particular element, your stats will get a 20% increase whereas other elements may get a 20% decrease. So you cannot just keep using the same Goobuddies over and over again. Every battle is more like a strategic puzzle, and you have to build a team in order to solve that strategic puzzle. And there's so many different elements and aspects to the game to where there's always going to be different challenges. So you cannot just steamroll by having one very powerful party. It's about building your parties specifically to solve those challenges. And I think something like that is very fun. That's something that I would personally really like to see in a monster raising game. Also, there's no um, universal species that's born and then everyone has the exact same one. Goobuddies are born with different mutations. You can see that they have, things that can come out of their head. You can see he's not bumping into the tree anymore because of the solid collider we put in there. They can be born with different eye colors as well, and different elements. And different elements can have different uh, uh, physical aspects to them as well. So even though this is a species, a fire, this is called a ladlet. If we look at his stats here, see a species is ladlet. So this is a light ladlet, right? And if there was a shadow one, or a gold, or a silver, or an ice, he would have different physical aspects to uh, his body, and he also has different mutations. And so you could have Goobuddies born that are totally unique. Their eye color can also be different based on their genetics, at what you've exposed them to. So it feels like a very personal experience because your Goobuddies, more than likely, they're going to be unique to you, and also they can be born with actions as well. And so it's something that you can keep playing, and you can keep getting totally unique Goobuddies. Something like that is very exciting to me, and that's really why I designed this game in this specific way. Let's go ahead and put Goo. So let's get some guys in here and table here. So you can see this is a Gooblet. This is the youngest stage. Um, and his element is electricity, and you can see he's got, you know, these. He's got a lightning rod, that's his mutation, and he has these little bits coming out the sides. But if we look at Pablo, he's a silver Gooblet. He's the same species, but that species looks quite a bit different because of the element, and he has his own unique mutations. That's what makes this game totally different from other monster raising games, and that's one of my favorite subgenres, is monster raising. Um, and I just want to make something that will be very exciting for people, but also something where it feels like if you keep playing it, you'll keep being rewarded. And I really like that aspect to games. Will the particle effects of an egg hatching be reflective of the element of the Goobuddy? We'll be like, yes, you got it. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of a generic, egg breaking and then some sparkles, but of course there's going to be some degree of the element being represented as well. B Glips, I got to ask, what was the idea of constantly wearing a suit and tie in your videos come from? Um, so this is just how I normally dress for work anyway. Um, but a few years ago, I started watching a lot of media from the 60s, specifically the 60s and 70s, and some stuff from the 50s. The 50s isn't my favorite era. I mean, we were really racist in the 50s. That wasn't so great. But in the 60s and 70s, I really enjoyed the fashion from the 60s and 70s. I really enjoyed the attitude of people from the 60s and 70s. There's a positivity to it. There's a hopefulness for the future. There's this idea that we should promote respect for our fellow human beings, and I really like that from the 60s and 70s. And so then I started just collecting vintage clothes. It started with waistcoats, but I ended up finding three-piece suits, and I realized, oh man, the clothes from that era are really cool. So it's not like I'm putting on a costume. I mean, this is what I normally wear just for my work day anyway. So, and I've worked in professional environments where you wear a suit and a tie. It wasn't a three-piece suit; it was just a modern suit, and there's nothing cool or fun about that. But it's the vintage stuff that you can wear in a more relaxed environment. I just think it looks cool, and I think it reflects the attitudes of the era. Is to conduct yourself um, with respect to other people, and to present yourself in a way where you're trying to be the best version of yourself in terms of your attitude, your views toward the world, and um, yeah, that's basically what I believe in. So we were going to look at the auditioning and just take a look, set up visuals from character data. I need to uh, single out just the mutation because the hatching Goobuddy. Species and character data. Feature in. Okay, so we want to do this. We want to set up visuals from character data. And I'm not sure if I need to reset, but we're going to find out here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this set up visuals from character data, and we will go to our home base manager, start hatching sequence, and we have the hatchery here. Where's my hatchery? Okay, so we're going to just find out. Let me know if the music's ever too loud at some point. Start hatching sequence, okay? Okay, we need to show the born member hatchery. I'm sorry if I get quiet in the chat for a moment. It just means that I'm actually concentrating and focusing on work here. So this is what I need to call from the auditionee. And that will be this guy, the born member. Okay? You'll see me doing copying and pasting a fair bit just to save me typing and then make sure that I do it correctly. So this is an auditionee. Yeah, set up visuals from character data. So we want to reference the core, the species, and the character data. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to reference the core, the species data. So that's core dot species, and we need, let's see, target variant, item ID. Oh, I know it's always the same species. It's always going to be. Oh no, no, no! I can't use this because it's going to try to create a new character model. I think. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. I haven't been getting enough sleep, so uh, the philosophy that I'm doing here is what I refer to as stumbling through. Generally, you want to take a very precise and focused approach where you know exactly what you're doing in terms of what might go wrong if you do something wrong here. Um, I've been working till very late. I was working until 2 a.m. last night on this game, and so I'm using an approach called stumbling through, where you're just sort of going through it, and if you bump into a problem, you'll fix the problem if you bump into it. Generally, you wouldn't work like that. You would work in a way where you're actively avoiding problems, but I have not been getting enough sleep. I've just been working on this game. Okay, so I need to get the member data. So, okay. I need to, let's see. I need the creature that is in the party that is being born. So, populate the eggs in inventory, show born member. Creature in party. Member in focus. And I need to set a member in focus. So that should fix that. So now I need to assign the value. And I need to make sure that's public so I can set it from another script here. So we'll go to home base and we'll go to hatchery dot member in focus is equal to, let's see here. Now where have I apologize for not catching up with the chat, but I'm just got to focus on the work here. So this, let's see, this hatches the egg into the party, but I need to get the slot at which. Okay, so game managers where we go to reference anything that any other class needs to reference. Let's see here, creature party. Party member. What I'm going to do is this public beast, fang, creature, and party. And I'm going to go member in focus, so that way I can basically bring public attention, not like a celebrity. Way I can bring public attention to that particular new party member, and then I can have other classes reference that. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to attempt add egg to inventory, attempt hatch egg into party. Okay. All right, we can get rid of this debugging script. We don't need that anymore. And now what we'll do is this. We will go to member in focus, and that's going to access our save data. I will catch up with the chat. This is partly why I didn't want to do live streaming for the time being is because I know that I haven't been getting enough sleep, and it makes it difficult for me to work in a focused way. I end up stumbling through. So now, when we add a new party member, attempt hatch egg into party, it will store a reference to that member. And so we no longer, in our hatchery, we no longer need this. Okay? So what we're going to do is game manager dot member in focus that has been assigned. Okay? Which means we no longer need that. So, if we run this, let's see what happens. And so, bro, you space out your code a lot more than I do. Well, I'm going to come back and, I could, but when I was working on it, I was doing a lot of things at the moment, so you can just take that out. It doesn't matter, but it's just so it's easier for me to read if I know that I need to come back and add things. I'll put spaces in there just to help me with in terms of readability. Is this PLZA code? Oh no, this is. Oh, I'm working on my game. This is Goobuddies, so I just made some changes. All I'm stumbling through life. Look, we all kind of stumble through a little bit. I haven't coded any sort of game save or setting stuff yet. Can you give me a general idea of the difficulty and how long it could take? Sure, I can show you how the save data works. When you're first learning it, it's quite difficult. The best way to implement save data is to look at examples, but I've been thinking maybe I should just create an example template and then people can learn from it. I've been thinking of doing that. What does public mean? Like global? No. Public is very different from global. Public means that other classes can reference the instance of that variable. If you don't make it public, then you cannot reference it. You would have to create a function, and then people can access the public function to access the private variable. Okay, let's see what comes out of here. The little fellow that shows up. Is he still going to be green? Previously, he was just green. Previously, the one that hatched, the visuals did not change. All of the logic that we just did, all the coding that we just did the past few minutes is what allowed the Goobuddy that came out of the egg. Let's go ahead and hatch this one now. Let's see what happens if this one turns out to be a red one with the whiskers. Okay, you see how he still has his ice spikes back there? So we're going to have to reset the visuals. And so we can do that. We can make sure that we don't mess up anything here. We're calling setup visuals from character ID, but what we want to do is reset all of the variant effects. Okay? Elemental effects. What we're going to do is just grab that. We're going to stick it through there, and I'm just going to put this in here. Reset all to variant visuals. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Okay. So it's going to go through all elements in that array. Okay. And it should reset it. But again, I've not had enough sleep. I should know exactly what's going to happen here, but I don't right now. I've not had a lot of sleep this week. I had 5 hours of sleep last night. So I'm stumbling through the code right now. We're going to run it and we're going to see it. If I bump into a problem, then I'll fix it. Pixel checksum. that's that's awesome. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Um, I see a silver Punimon in the screen. Well, that's his just nor that's not the little bumps that he has on his head are not always part of that. That's a random mutation. He can have different random mutations. Just happen to turn out that way. So let's go ahead and hatch our eggs. We'll try the same sequence and we'll see if we get the same problem. Sleep's overrated. Ooh. I'm gonna I'm gonna go over to my buddy's place later to play the new Pokemon game. I'm gonna have to get some sleep before I head over. So now we'll do the same thing again and we'll see if that line of code that we added will fix our problem. The icicles should be gone. No, I've not done it correctly. And this is stumbling through, right? You should have a more focused approach when you have enough sleep. So I need to figure out what's going wrong here. I have variant effects, and for each variant effect, oh, I know what's going wrong. It's only turning off the effects if that character is the same element. I need it to go through every single element. So what we'll do here is we'll use another iterator. Okay, we're going to go 4, and I have 2 there. You can normally define them, but you can cause memory leaks with Unity so I just define them up there. Unity betrays you. It'll stab you in the back when you least expect it. So what we want is this. Visual effects length. A lot of the code that you see here, it looks like it may not make sense and it seems clumsy. Like you may think, like, why would you do it that way? In general, I'm doing it this way because Unity will betray you. Unity will betray you. It will leak memory until your game crashes. And so the way that I develop here in Unity comes from years of Unity betraying me. Just utter betrayal. Okay, so now we can see that we're going to iterate through the variant effects, and then we're going to iterate inside of that for the visuals. So again, I'm stumbling through this. I should have another coffee. I shouldn't even be here right now without a coffee in my hand. Eat, sleep, game, repeat. Working on some game. I'm sorry that I missed out on the chat. I'll pay more attention now. Chad Leg goes, hey, how's it going? I'm working on some game code myself. Nice, nice. Enjoying the stream. Thanks for having us. What kind of game are you working on, Chad? And it's crazy that I've gotten to this point in my life where I haven't made a monster game like this already. Because I love these kinds of games. These I could spend hours and hours. Obviously, I have. I've made a couple Digimon videos, and obviously, I have spent hours and hours playing monster games. I just really enjoy them. This is the Earth type Goobuddy. So if we hatch another egg, we'll go to the fire one. We'll see if it has removed the other elements, because that's just one. Yes, it worked. It worked. This is just one instance of this creature, and I'll show you the logic behind it. This is the only one. It's not creating a brand new creature. What it's doing is it's turning this creature on and off like this game object. The reason why I'm not just creating it and then destroying it when I don't need it is that will cause memory leakage. And it can cause fragmentation, which is like a bad game of Tetris. So constantly creating and destroying leads to memory leakage. There's also performance costs. You can cause stuttering and hiccuping. And so instead of doing that, I have the object there. It's never created. It's never destroyed. It's just turned on and off, and then his visuals are reset. The code that we just did resets the visuals. So let's go ahead and hatch another egg. Now we'll go to the ice one. And I want to create animations where the egg wobbles. There's going to be special particle effects and everything. It works. Our code works. So we needed 2 iterations. Okay. Patriot. Hey, how's it going? I eat, work, try to sleep, try to squeeze in time to write my novel and write music. And it's so tough. Actually, you know what I find when you're working on a novel or something creative like that? It actually helps having things get in the way. If you have nothing else going on and you can just work on a novel, you kind of have less motivation. But when you have things getting in the way, I think that makes you more motivated to work on that because you think, oh, I can't wait to be done with this, so I can get back to work on the thing. You must define every variable as int or string. It depends on your language. In C sharp, you do have to have your type defined, and I really like that. I really prefer to have a very strict type definition because you can make sure that you are always giving the correct data type, and so I really prefer that. This is my favorite programming language to work in. Are the ice schools specific to ice Goobuddies? Yes, correct. You got it. But that's a placeholder graphic. I don't really like the way that looks. That's a placeholder. I want something that looks like it has harsh edges and spikes to it. So I will make a replacement. But yes, every ice Goobuddy will have different spikes. They won't always have the exact same formation of spikes. It depends on the species. So, and I have to manually create that for every Goobuddy. So not only do I make the species of Goobuddies, I have to make the elemental variations as well. And that's fun. It's very time consuming, but it's fun. And so, dude, you forgot about one of my favorite variables, vector 3. Vector 3s are very useful. You can't serialize them. You can't put them in your save data, which is so weird. So weird. So you have to create your own class that is serializable. I have one called serializable vector 3. It's so weird that you have to do your own. I'm not one inch. I'm making a game where you are an operator that is retrieving lost items from abandoned facilities. That sounds fun. With guns and monsters. Kind of like Lethal Company or Repo, but with guns. That sounds fun. I mean, like SW show or SW restore. I'm not sure what that is. What SW show or SW restores. Um, Someone asked about the save data. I'll just show you what that looks like here. And I've been doing game development for years and years in a very long time, and I've done save data in ways that is not efficient, and that is horrendous. And I look back and I think, oh man, that is a terrible way to do save data. These days, this is the most efficient way. Comes from decades of game development, and um, this save data is very efficient. This is the easiest and most manageable way. You have your system.serializable uh, Beast Fangs savable data, and you can have multiple of this, right? So this is all of the data that's in here, but this isn't just it. You also have a creature and party, and this is a big thing. This is the data that stores your creature itself. Let's go ahead and open up feature in party. If we open that, you can see that it is also serializable, so you can have as many uh, instances, not instances, as many of these as you want, as many elements of this as you want in your savable data. So you can see there's an array of that. So you have 40 slots for your corrals, 600 in terms of your stables, your reserve. I can increase this number if I want. And here are all of the values of your creatures. There's all the value. And when we look at our save data, where's my core? Let me know if the music's ever too loud. Let's look at our save data. So we have our game manager, and you can see we have multiple save data, right? These are our save slots. Right now there's 2. I'm keeping it low because it does cause the editor to run very slow if I have a bunch in there because there's a significant amount of data. There's a high amount of data in here. So we're looking at our save data right now. Our creatures and parties, that's the most important thing. That's our monsters right there. And you can see all of the data is stored information-wise in there. And then we just write that into our save data manager. Oh, I can't show you. I have code that was from the Nintendo 3DS. I can't open my save data manager, but it writes it. So I can't show you that, unfortunately. It's NDA. Making a game like this, do you get nervous about the big N patenting everything? Absolutely not. 0% no, because that's not what Nintendo is doing. So I'm not going to... I'm avoiding discussing the topic too much because I'm business partners with Nintendo, but Nintendo is not patenting stuff to attack people or to stop people from doing things. Nintendo is patenting their very specific mechanics for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The monster or your monster character that transforms into different modes of transportation. They're patenting things that are extremely specific and extremely defined towards Pokemon. They absolutely do not care about what other people are making in terms of their monster games. The only reason they would care is if you make creature designs that are openly ripping off their designs, if you've openly stolen their designs and then just mixed and matched a bunch of their very identifiable characters that are their intellectual property, and then you admit to copying their designs, that's when Nintendo will take action. So as long as you don't rip off their characters and then you don't openly admit to ripping off their characters, Nintendo's not going to bother. They absolutely do not care. They have bigger fish to fry. I am not worried at all about Nintendo because that is not what they are setting out to do. They're protecting their intellectual property, but there's going to be a lot of people on the internet where if you say that, they'll get mad at you. People will get mad if you don't attack Nintendo for some reason. I don't super understand it. Um, my favorite Goobuddy is Potter Basin because I think it helps people to date with confidence. Let's go ahead and have a look at our Goobuddies here. We'll go to the sorting screen. You should be able to copy the Discord link and paste it with the URL. Oh, yeah, join the Discord. I haven't been using Discord much. I should be. I'm so focused on Goobuddies right now that I'm not even opening Discord. Normally I'm there and I try to chat with people. I'm trying to patent the means of summoning monsters is protecting their intellectual property. Well, I don't know about the details of summoning monsters. The stuff that I saw was related to using a Pokeball, using a ball to capture all of that. I don't know about any other specific thing, but if they are setting out to patent summoning monsters, I have not seen them act on suing people on specifically summoning monsters. The only thing that I've seen them is the very specific way in which you have monsters join you in battle in the very specific way that they defined it in Scarlet and Violet. Otherwise, they should have. If that's true, if Nintendo was trying to stop people from making games with summoning monsters, they should have sued Time Stranger. They should have sued Time Stranger right now, but they haven't. They should have sued, Nexamon, Koromon, Disc Creatures, and those things, are drawing upon the Pokemon DNA. Why hasn't Pokemon sued them? And the answer is simple, because those people have not stolen Pokemon designs and mashed them together and combined them to make their creatures. And I'm not going to attack or defend anyone in particular. I'm just going to answer the question and explain the way that I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you disagree with me, and that's totally fine. If I'm wrong, it's totally fine if you disagree with me. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I'm saying what I see and what I don't see. Is Goobuddies going to be on Switch? Yes, Goobuddies will be on Switch, on Steam, and I'll do homebrew platforms like PS Vita, so you'll be able to play it for free. I'm working on a version for Android as well. So here's some of the Goobuddies. This is Rain Dish, right? I designed this to be a rain dish, but it ended up looking like a toilet. I thought it was very funny, so I am leaving it. Let's go ahead. Let's look at some stats. I haven't even shown people stats yet. We know monster games are all about the stats. I'm going to open up his information here. So I like to have developer notes here. You don't see this in the game. This is just for me. So Rain Dish has high defense, viscosity, and power, very low speed and intelligence. Okay? Yeah, mobile port, yeah. YouTube Live is broken. It took me 10 attempts to enter chat. Oh, sorry about that. I don't really know when YouTube does things wrong, or it's weird sometimes. I don't really understand why it does that. Okay, so here is, you got your base stats and you have your stat growth. So every time, if you have a look here, every time you train, the stats will go up this amount, right? So every time you train health, the stats will go up 10. And then there's other elements that are taken into account. The way that you raise your egg, you take your blank egg, you expose it to different things, you can affect the stat growth of that Goobuddy as well. Every time you train, stamina is not used in this game. Every time you train in for power, it'll go up by 6 points, and then it takes into account other elements as well. And here are his learnable actions. So this species has every species has two unique things. Every species is able to Slime Shot. That's like a basic thing. You have Slime Fountain. Let's take a look at Slime Fountain. What Slime Fountain Let's see. It boosts viscosity. Let's see, for the whole team. I should put that description in there. So that's one of his moves. It buffs the whole team's viscosity, and viscosity. If you have higher viscosity, it means that when you have a positive a status effect, it'll last longer, and then the negative status effects, you'll be able to recover from it faster. Um, Also, when you are healed, if you have higher viscosity, then the healing is more effective. So he's a very good support unit because he has Slime Fountain, and his jiggly action is special attack is X regen, and X regen restores the team's HP. So this guy is just an extremely effective support unit. He's probably the I'd say he's probably the best healer because he has those two things. Again, Slime Fountain basically it makes healing more effective on you because it increases uh, your viscosity. So and then he heals the whole team. So this is an excellent healer, probably the best healer. Viscosity also increases the effectiveness of your slime elements. So your slime element, these moves. So viscosity is very important in this game. Uh, I have to ask, I saw milk as an interaction option earlier. What does milking the slime do? Taya, yes, milking collects slime. The way that you collect milk from a cow, you can harvest slime. So the Goobuddies are made of goo, and they excrete slime. So anything that you see like this, you see, this is a placeholder shader that's more basic because I'm preparing this to run on the Vita as well. So I have to use some basic shaders, but generally the slime will look like that. So a slime is a part, it's not really part of the Goobuddies' body. The goo is their body, and slime is stuff that they excrete. And you can collect slime and you can sell it to people. People will have requests. That's how you earn money in this game, is you have to harvest slime and then people will say, I need slime of a certain element. So say, for example, this clear stuff, that is slime. That is not part of the Goobuddies' body. They just excrete it. This is slime here. This helicopter aspect. This is slime. And you can harvest that. That's what milking does on the interaction screen. When the game is fun, people will play. YouTube is acting weird. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I don't really understand. Sorry about that. I'm fond of a certain level of viscosity, especially in the game. Sungren, when you see the success of games like a Mega Bonk made by a singular dev, do you not wish you'd made one now? I don't know what Mega Bonk is. Let's look it up. No, I'm really glad to see people succeed because I know how difficult it is to work on anything. So seeing people gain success is very heartening. I really like seeing other people succeed. Let's go ahead and have a look at Mega Bonk, what that is. A roguelike survival game. Let's just open up Steam right here. I have to show you something funny on Google. Cool. Yeah, that's Megabonk. It's 1450 Australian. Have a look at that. So check. Okay, Google AI answered me weird the other day. I'm gonna type in Gen 2 starters. Okay, we all know what Gen 2 starters are, right? Do we all know what a Gen 2 starter is? The very first answer. People are going to look at the very first thing. Google's so proud of AI. AI is the future. Whoop-dee, you know. Oh, cool. I finally know what the Gen 2 starters are. This is what Google says Gen 2 starters are. This is the very first thing that comes up. Did, did you guys know that these were the Gen 2 starters? If you were to just breeze past it, if you didn't, because people are just going to look at it and go, oh yeah, I know what that is. The problem is, these are not the Gen 2 starters. This is fan art. And the problem is that AI doesn't care. I notice that AI often gives me the wrong answers. Things that I type in here are often wrong. And it's frustrating because people are learning things that are very wrong because they trust Google AI, they trust answers like that. It's a little frustrating, but you know what? You can't be an old man yelling at cloud strife. You have to accept the world for what it is. And we're going to be living in a world where people think that's what the Gen 2 starters are. This ended up being one of my favorite Goobuddies. This guy is double egg. I was sitting up late at night. I think this was like a midnight idea. I had not originally planned on this guy, right? So I think I've been working late on the game. It was probably midnight, and then I thought to myself, "Oh man, what if there was a Goobuddy that was sunny side up?" I love Bomberman Chikorita, and I'm not saying they're bad. I like those. I think those designs are cool. I like them, right? The problem is those are not the Gen 2 starters. That's fan art. This is these guys make me happy. Bacon. Oh, so okay. This is probably a spoiler, but I have planned. If this does well and people want more Goo Buddies, I have planned more family lines. I refer to these as family lines because they're all themed around a particular idea. I have a family line that's themed around just food. Um, this one, I think this one might be my favorite design. It's six Goo Buddies all combined together into one mecha, a Goo mecha. And he's rigged up. He's ready to roll. This friend is ready to rock. So I just gotta get the animations into this guy's. Something about this. It was after I know it was immediately after I made this guy. I was sculpting this double egg. It was past midnight, and in the middle of sculpting that, I thought, oh, what if I made a Goobuddy that was a mecha that was combined? And I came up with this guy. And I'm so happy. This design makes me happy. Gootron. We're getting old. The youths won't allow what Bomberman. Oh yeah, I think young people won't know what Bomberman is. Bomberman was a launch title for Switch, wasn't it? That was what Bomberman R, I think. I'm a big Bomberman fan. I I will boot up a Bomberman game and just play a couple rounds. I'm a big Bomberman guy. I have one of my custom Mii fighters in Smash Ultimate is Bomberman, and when I play that custom Mii, I just spam the neutral B, which is throwing the ball because it's Bomberman. What are you gonna do? This is my favorite family line, the multi. I would like to make more. I really want to. These guys make me happy. This is what I like. This is who I am as a person. This is what I like. Uh, this guy in the bottom is so happy. I thought it'd be funny to have the varying degrees of emotion. The bottom guy's so happy that he's got his best two buddies. The guy in the middle is just kind of look at his face. He's sandwiched. He's squished. And then the guy at the top is just worried. I really like that. This fun friend. It's a clam and he's on the inside. That makes me laugh. This is what I like. The oyster pearls line is so stunning. I like. This is what I like. These guys make me laugh as well. I often, when I'm making designs, I'm trying to make myself laugh. Either I'm trying to come up with something that I think is just badass, like this, where I think, oh yeah, or I'm trying to make myself laugh as hard as possible. And these guys, these guys, look how I like the worried look on their faces. These are fun. I want to make more so badly. I just want to keep making these, but I can't. I can't keep making these because I have to program the game, and then it takes a massive amount of time preparing them because I can't just take the graphics, even they're rigged up. I can't just stick them in the game. I have to make the elemental variations as well, and that sucks because I want to keep making more cool monsters. That's what I want. This guy. So here's the thing. This is not. Some of these are unfinished. In order to be properly cute, his hands need to be smaller, or his arms need to be smaller, and they need to be more off to the side. This doesn't match my concept art. I've only done concept art for some of them. Most of them I create them while I'm sculpting. This one. So in the lore of Goobuddies, all of the technology is goo based. I call it goo punk, and all of the different elements of slime have different applications for the real world. For example, we don't necessarily rely on fire for heating in the world of Goobuddies. In this world, the fire slime. So Goobuddies that are fire element, they excrete fire slime, and people use fire slime as a form of heating and cooking because it's very hot. So that's the sort of technology that this world uses. It's all goo based. It's all goo. You made a Pac-Man ghost totem. You know what? I can see it. I can see it. But you know what also looks like a Pac-Man ghost? This guy back here. I think this is Tall Stick. Is there a wiki page already? There isn't. There is not, but eventually there will be because that's just how monster games are. You've got to have some sort of suppository of knowledge. It's gonna be wild seeing how some of this move. I'm having so it's so fun making these and then animating them. Doing the physics animation is so fun. Um, and I've made myself a lot of work when it comes to this guy. Uh, but luckily, I can rely on physics animation. In the past, I didn't use physics animations for my characters, and I was doing monster designs where I was just it was like a wish list of making a cool monster, and I thought, give him more tentacles, that'll be sick. And then I like 7 hours of animating, nonstop the tentacles, and I thought I've made a nightmare for myself. Luckily, I can rely on physics animation, so you know I can animate just the important parts of movement for the tentacles. But these are the designs I really like as well. It's funny, you can tell. I think if you looked at these designs, you can tell which Digimon and which Pokemon I like. Because I like these guys. Like, oh yeah, check out this guy. And then you have like the goofiest. You have the goofiest little thing. You have Then you'll have this guy, and this this guy makes me laugh. Oh, knee pain, I really appreciate that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this. You caught slack a few months ago and targeted by trash farming content creators over a bad take. I've yet to see the same creators do live streams like this. Keep it up. I really appreciate that. Thank you. The internet it's interesting and I don't fully understand it. So, you know what? I'm just gonna. I've I've really decided what I want to do is like the end result of people watching my channel. I want people to feel positive, and so that's what I'm setting out to do. And you know what? People are gonna make fun of you, and people will say negative things about you, whether it's on the internet or the real world. That's gonna happen. You know, Tough Titty said the kitty, but the milk is just fine. I think that's something old people say. Um, yeah, this guy makes me laugh so much. This is one of my first designs for this guy. But yeah, I'm focusing on just whatever videos I do. I want people to feel pretty good after watching it. I want them to carry on with the rest of their day feeling a little more positive. That's why I've been trying to do funny stuff. I did a DBZ sketch. I wrote a Bleach sketch. I'm a massive Bleach fan. I have to order some props to do the Bleach sketch, but I do have a comedy Bleach sketch coming up as well. I messed up my voice doing my DBZ sketch the other day because I did like a Vegeta voice, and then I had to cancel going to one of my Irish music sessions. I was supposed to go and sing Gaelic music, and I said to them, I said like I messed up my throat, and they're all adults. They're all in like their 60s and 70s, so I can't explain to them why I messed up my voice. I can't say I was doing a funny Japanese cartoon parody sketch and I messed up my voice. Boglins from the 90s, if you remember that. What's Boglins? I don't know what a Boglins is. Boglins. Oh, what is that? What is that? This seems very late 80s to early 90s. Oh yeah, Kid Me would have liked that. Kid Me likes, well, I mean, Kid Me loved Numamon, so this is right up my alley. Oh, this is hideous. Yeah, I never saw this. Is this from the 90s? Very cool. Very creepy. I like that. The first time anyone has ever appreciated knee pain. I do appreciate you, knee pain. Just not my knee pain. Gaelic music? Oh yeah, yeah. I usually do 1 to 2 Irish music sessions per week, which is why I wake up early. I don't sleep that much. I wake up early. I try to do a video because people said that they like the channel. They like having a laugh. We like talking about the stuff that we like. So I don't sleep that much. I wake up early. I do the YouTube video. I work very hard on this stuff, and then usually 1 to 2 nights a week I go out to the either a pub or a music club, and I do Irish music sessions. Sometimes I'll do folk music. There are some places that do country music. So I don't have much free time, and I need to cut back on sleep. If I'm going to do the stuff that I want to do, I have to sleep less, unfortunately. And that's just how it is. Some of these, okay, I'll show you. this is, I'll show you this because I know people who like monster stuff are going to appreciate this. This design is not finished. If you, say for example, look at this guy, that's a finished design. If you look at this guy, you can tell it's not finished, but I put him in here anyway because I needed to define which ones are in which family. So this may be the last time that you see this creature. And this is a real, like, you know what I really like is when you see beta Pokemon and unfinished Pokemon. Oh man, something about that. It just makes my brain feel awesome. Uh, this may be the last time you see this because this week I need to finish this guy, and he's not gonna look. He's gonna be cooler. He'll be cooler than this. I wanted his neck to be way longer. I thought it'd be very funny to have just a long, long friend. So this you won't see this guy anymore. I had one of those the Goblins. I had one of those you could put on your hand in the back and control the eyes. Oh, that's cool. Advice dog. That's awesome. This is hideous. I love it. Fantastic quote. There's something about gross monsters that I really like. You know, it's I think I'll call it the Numamon effect, right? Like you shouldn't like Numamon. I don't know why I like him. No, I know why I like him. I know why I like Numamon because he throws poop. We're in this world where these creatures are fantastic, and then they're generating lightning and shooting out fireballs, and here's a guy that's just throwing out poop. And as you know what, not just as a kid, as an adult, I see value in that. So I need to create an actual hatchery. You see, this is just placeholder. This is I had to. This is funny. Check this out. I haven't created the actual nest yet. So the nest that the Goobuddies are hatching on, it's one of the barrels. I took one of the barrels and I stretched it out, and that's where I'm hatching the Goobuddies right now. Don't tell anyone. In the actual game, I'm gonna have a nest, all right, or some sort of pedestal. My creature creation philosophy is I want critters that look like they make sense in the world. Yeah, I agree with you. I want them to make sense because they're more like you could sort of place them and they're more relatable. If there's no internal logic, it's kind of hard to connect with them, you know? Um, I love the Pokemon wildlife documentary videos. Oh, the one where it's kind of like you're watching like a David Attenborough sort of thing, because there's great beauty in real wildlife. Yeah, well said. That can really transfer over to game wildlife, which is why I like Gen 1 best. I'm gonna come out. Gen 1 is not my favorite, and I kind of feel like people are gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna come out and say that Kalos is my favorite region. Is that gonna get me in trouble? I don't know if that's gonna get. I grew up with Gen 1, right? I was Gen 1er for a long time. Kalos changed me. X and Y. I think people really dislike X and Y. That's my favorite region, and I just want to come out and let people know that I'm not a Gen 1er. Kalos is my favorite region. Happy bro, thank you. Look, no, the games are so lived in, and like the region in X and Y, you go places and you see people sort of sitting around and living their life like drinking tea and eating, and you can sit on the benches, which we hadn't been able to. Let me know if I'm wrong. I don't think you could sit on benches in black and white. And in X and Y, you could sit next to somebody, and there's something interesting about that. And it felt like people were actually alive in the X and Y games. And what I love is that the world changed in some way, you know, towards the end, and there was this big disaster, and you see people responding to change. To me, that makes a world feel lived in, and I don't think there's any other Pokemon game that did that, where there was change, and you got to see people react to change. It's important. One of my favorite things in JRPGs is to see change. I like to go to a town and people say, "Oh, dude, this dragon is just, oh man, this dragon is ruining my time," right? And I want to go and kill the dragon, and then I want to go back to town, and then I want to see what people say as a result of me killing the dragon. And to me, that makes a world feel lived in, and it's something that Pokemon games don't really do, but X and Y does do that, and I really enjoy that. Well, Pokemon does it only a little bit at the end, you know, after you beat the Elite Four. A little bit, they'll say, "You're the champion now." I want more of that, you know? XY fans unite. Yes! Taya, I knew that we had a connection. I knew it. I'm so glad to be able to let people know I'm not a Gen 1er anymore. X and Y has been my favorite for a long time. 1 and 3 are best. It feels so good booting up a game on an SP. Oh, on a TF-101 SP. But you know, I I know that Nintendo does watch my channel. I have a flash cartridge and I do play ROM hacks, and I like putting the ROM hacks on an actual cartridge and playing it on an SP. It feels good, man. There's something cool about it. Let's just hatch. Okay, so we'll watch what happens. So I programmed this. Let's have a look here. So in this game, you actually have to buy. You have to go to town and use your goo dollars. Go to town and use your goo dollars to buy egg sensors, and the egg sensors will reveal information about your egg. It'll let you know more about the elements, their talents, what other mutations, things like that. So when you start out, you don't have any egg sensors, so you have to go to town and buy the egg sensors. So that lets you know a bit more about the progress of the egg. So when you hatch the egg, the game looks for it checks for the current corral that you're at. There's going to be 6 different corrals, and it checks. Oh no, 7. I decided at the last minute I wanted a treehouse corral. There wasn't originally going to be treehouse corral, but when I was working on this stuff, I thought it would be really cool, and I thought, yeah, that'd be sick to have like a giant tree, then you have a platform sticking out, and then your Goobuddies live in a treehouse. So I'm going to add that in. So I put it in the programming's in there. So when you're hatching, it checks the current corral that you're in. It looks for an empty spot. But what happens if you're hatching an egg and your slots are full? So let's just go ahead and hatch these bad boys. The SP was peak. Oh yeah, that's close it. You slide it in your. I was really jealous. My friends had the SP when we were in high school, and I didn't have a GBA until way later on, and they were playing Advance Wars. Oh, I was so jealous. Let's go ahead and hatch another egg. What is he saying? I can't hear. Is there a treehouse corral? Is there something? Let me know if there's anything wrong with my audio. Okay, so we have our Earth guy. Okay, so now if we look at our... Well, I'll show you what it looks like when we're training. What is this gooblet? See, the lifespan hasn't been set as well. See, he can't train. The way that lifespan works in this game, your Goobuddy won't die, but he won't be able to train to raise his stats anymore once his lifespan is exhausted. So that way you get to keep your party members. We will fix that. That is something that we'll fix in programming now. But I'll finish showing you what happens. So my slots in my corral are full. So let's hatch another egg, and we'll see what happens. This one's our ice egg. Your audio is fine. My YouTube players being... That's weird. Everyone's having a problem with YouTube today. They've been making some changes, I've noticed. It's been really funny. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go to our ranch, and we'll check our stables. There's a new one that's born, but you can see he doesn't have a nickname, right? So his name is blank. Let's go ahead and hatch another one. This is Light Element. YouTube is getting DDoS or something. Yeah, everyone's saying they're having problems. That's so weird. I know they recently changed, like the buttons at the bottom of the video, they've changed those. Yeah. And we can go to our ranch, and we programmed this last time on stream, so you can move that around. Right now I only have 3 stables, but if you go to town, you can use your Goo dollars, and you can buy up to 30 stables. So you can have a lot. You can have a lot. Okay? And we'll put this is our new one. Give them a hug. Okay, there's the ones that we just hatched. Okay? But we have a problem because they are born without any lifespan, which, saying that just gives me existential dread that they were born without any lifespan. That is sad. That's so dark. We'll fix that. The thing is, it's back. Okay, good. I'm glad. So I'll show you something about training. I'll explain how training works. And you're probably going to see me sort of get really passionate and heated about this because I love this kind of thing. And again, I don't use the word love recklessly. I love this kind of thing, the mechanical functionality of all of this. So you have a look at these plus signs here, right? They let you know what sort of stat growth you will get. But you see there's a level here, and there's going to be a button prompt to enhance. This is a daily level up. So these are your apparatuses for training. They reset at the end of the day, and you use your Goo dollars. So when you level up, see how I've increased that? For weightlifting, level +1, enhancement complete. I'll level it up again, and you can see it's gone to level 2. Okay, and you can see every time I level it up, you get another plus here. I'll level it up to level 3, which means if I were to use this apparatus, that Goobuddy will get even more stat growth. They'll get more gains, as it were. I think the young people today say that they get gains. Am I doing that correctly? Did I do a meme correctly? Um, so let's do that. So these are placeholder graphics. The training apparatus. I still need to do all the graphics. I haven't done any graphics for the training apparatus. And let's just wait. We'll go to a stats menu, right, from my table. Tell you, oh man, there's an aging mechanic. I don't care if I can handle watching my Goobuddy get old and die. I know. Oh look, so his defense has gone up by 5, and you can see it has increased in there, and that's because we leveled up our apparatus. And again, that resets at the end of the day. So your goal, there's a number of like daily enhancements that you can do, and that's to promote, you know, it's not hugely expensive to level these up, right? So it's like a momentary progress that is like a temporary boost. Like it's a major boost, but it's only temporary. So it promotes you to play the game in in bursts, you know, so you can take a break, and then when you're ready to play the game, you think, oh, okay, I've saved up my money, and now I'll get all those daily buffs, and then I'll play and I'll get ready for the big battle at the end of the week. Your Goobuddy will not die when their lifespan runs out. It just means that they won't be able to train to get stat boosts anymore. So what happens when your Goobuddy's lifespan runs out, but you still want them to get a little stronger? That's what interacting is for. Your activities. These give your Goobuddy temporary stat buffs that last until the end of the day. They give stat boosts. And it'll say in the description, if we go to stats, you'll see those boosts there. So even if you can't boost their stats permanently, you can still give them daily buffs. Because yeah, originally the Goobuddies were going to die. 100% that was my plan. 100%. Your lifespan runs out, they die. But as soon as I started rigging them up, and as soon as I animate, I'll tell you the very moment I changed my mind, is I animated the Goobuddies. I animated their eyeballs for that blinking one eyeball at a time. And then as soon as I did this, I did the interaction, I poked him, I did the hug, and I saw them blinking at me with one eye at a time. I immediately changed my mind, and I thought, I cannot let this creature die. I like this creature so much, and I do not want him to die. And just, look, he looks at you, and he's blinking one eye at a time. And I changed my mind, and I thought, nope, this creature will not die. I cannot let this creature pass into the next world and be gone forever. And that's when I changed my mind. So now, when their lifespan runs out, you just can't permanently raise their stats from trade. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. So our creatures are being born without any lifespan, which is so sad. It is so sad to say that. Game Manager handles much of our input logic. We'll close some things that we don't need. Alright. Attempt hatch egg into party, and then we add member from primer. So this is all of our logic. Oh, you know what? We're going to do 2 things here. We're going to make sure they have lifespan, and then we are going to give them a random mutation. So now when they hatch, they're going to have their mutations with random textures. I'm getting fired up, and that's because I love this stuff. This is what I like. I like this a lot. Okay. Normally, I'm quite reserved, but it's when I'm thinking about stuff like this that I feel like this stuff is just so cool. I get fired up. This is what I like. Okay, lifespan. See, lifespan remaining. How they're born with none, which is again, that sounds so sad. What we want to get is the species data. So we go to the core dot species, and we want to get the element of that. We go in member dot species ID, and we want base lifespan. What I do need to come back. See, I use something called a comeback. If I Control F to find, I'll find anything that says comeback. This says apply actual stats from egg. You saw that one of the eggs increases your base lifespan. So later on, I'll come back and I'll fix that later on. And what we will do now is we will go in member dot mutation ID, And this is placeholder logic, right? Because I need to calculate the information from the egg. There's genetic information from the egg that you contribute because you've taken this egg on an adventure. Uh, so, this is placeholder. Right now, we'll just set it to be totally random, but you will be able to influence it to some degree. Mutation is equal to random dot range. We're going to go to 0 and core dot mutation dot length. Oh, we should do this. No, we'll leave that for now. Let's not make it too complicated. So now they should have some lifespan, and they should be born with a random mutation. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's hatch some eggs. And this is so exciting to me. I was up very late. I was working until 2 a.m. because I wanted to be able to hatch eggs into my party. I love that solution. Glad they don't perish. You know, I'm I'm one of the I consider myself like a massive Monster fan, and I grew up with Monster Rancher, and it was the saddest thing in the world when a monster died. It was so heartbreaking, and I would save often, right? You're saving all the time in Monster Rancher, and then when they die, you can tell when they're going to die because they keep failing their training, and at that point, you just stick them in the freezer so that they don't die. And to me, I think that's functionally all you're doing is preventing the player from raising their stats. So functionally, you may as well just let that monster stay on the ranch and at least let it feel like that goo buddy is still a part of your life. That's what I want it to feel like. This is your buddy. Okay, let's go ahead and birth this guy. He should have some mutation now, a random mutation. Hopping off to get dinner. Hey, it's been great hanging out, Ty. Um, Thanks for the chill stream. You're a cool dude, and I'm excited to see where the game goes. Thanks for subscribing and hanging out. We'll see you around the channel, Taya. Okay, we'll see you around. Raphael, I know programming, but I was a mobile programmer with apps. How hard is it to start a game dev? You're off to a very good start if you already know programming in general. Can I make some simple game and have enough to subside my living while making other games? Making a living with games is very, very difficult, and it takes years and years to get to a point where you are making a living off of it. I would recommend viewing games as a if you want to make money earning games, think of it more as like a freelance job, like a home business freelance job. Like you're making a product and then people are buying it, but it's very difficult to earn a living wage with just games. It takes years and years and years of working to reach that point. Um, I would, because you already know programming, I would strongly recommend using something like Game Maker or Unity, um, because you already know programming. Um, it's difficult to just start making a game because you need to first develop your understanding of how to take an idea out of your head and make it into something functional. I usually recommend RPG Maker because that lowers the barrier of entry and it allows you to focus strictly on learning the concepts of taking an idea out of your head and making it a functional product. But because you already know programming and you understand certain concepts, it's going to be easier for you to learn game development. Absolutely go for it. There's so many programs out there that let you make a game right now today. So this is functional. Let's go ahead and have a look at this gooblet's element is fire, texture is sticky, and the mutation is slime flan. He's got a fun little thing. Let's interact with him. Give him a big old hug. I like the. I made this extra wobbly. Let's hatch another egg. Okay. RPG Maker is amazing for someone like me with great ideas but no skills. Well, you develop your skills. Oh, look. There's the problem. We need to fix that. See how there were multiple mutations on that? So he has the rock and he has the little spikes on his head. We will fix that. So we have run into a problem. This one will have multiple mutations stacked on it because we didn't remove the visuals. So we will fix that. Okay, see? He's got multiple things on there. So the ARM board, it's chugging right now because I'm running OBS and I'm running multiple things. So the computer is chugging. But the game normally runs very smoothly. Okay, so we'll go to our ranch. We got the ice dude here. Take them out of the ranch. Give him a big ol' hug. Poke him. He's born with a gem in his head. And that, let's see here. He's spectrally. His mutation is Gem B. So we need to fix them not being born with actions. We need to fix that. We'll do that one next. So we have a couple things we need to fix now. We need to, when they're born, they're not removing the mutation from the previous egg hatching, and they don't have any actions. So let's see if we fix the problem. So previously, when we tried to train the newly born Goobuddies, they were not able to train because they didn't have any lifespan, and we fixed it. So now they do properly have lifespan when they are born. Okay, so let's see if we can fix that problem. We should team up. I generally just work solo because I have so many projects to work on, and I want to get through all my projects. So I used to collaborate in the past. It's so fun to collaborate, but these days I'm so busy with my work. I have so many projects to work on, and I have so many things outside of work. You know, I do different music clubs. I volunteer my time at different places, so I just don't have time to collaborate because collaboration takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of attention. So I need to be able to reference that mutation effect. And I don't think I have it. So let's go ahead and make sure we add that reference here. Mutation object. So we're going to define that. And when we set up visuals from characters, in the similar way in which we reset the elemental visuals, we're going to check if this is null. If it's not equal to null, then we will destroy the mutation game objects. That should fix one problem. Okay, let's go ahead and test that now. Do you have game evolutions like Pokemon Digimon? There are some evolutions. There's really only the baby, the newborn stage, and then the young stage, and then it goes to an adult stage. And those are defined by the genetics of the creature. And the genetics are determined based on what you expose the egg to. Again, you can expose the egg during battle. You hold, like L2, and it'll hold the egg out, so you can make it get exposed to different attacks that are being performed in battle. Let's go ahead and just make sure that our logic is fixed in. You making a game for so many platforms. It's fun. It's so fun. I really prefer working on legacy platforms. I think they're really fun. Oh no, I like this guy. Oh, we're going to have to... He's going to get erased once I close this. Oh, he's got a little flower. That's a shame. I really like him. Okay. If we hatch another egg now, we'll make sure our logic worked. That the flower should go away. No. Oh, of course. I didn't complete my... I was busy talking in the chat. I did not assign that variable. I didn't assign this. So when we create our mutation, I have a comment there, which is very important. We set up mutation. Okay. I'm just gonna, this is a little sloppy. I'm just gonna do this because I know it'll work. It's a little sloppy. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, now we run our logic. It should be functional. It should work. You're making a game for so many platforms. You're making a version of the game for every Nintendo console. That's incredible. Well, really, officially, there's only going to be a version for the Switch. But I want to make homebrew versions for the old stuff like the Nintendo DS. I want to make stuff for the Game Boy Color. The GBA, because I really enjoy working on the old platforms. For me, it's a way to improve my skills, and it's very fun. It's just so cool seeing a game that you've made run on old consoles is very satisfying. Okay, let's go ahead and hatch these really quick. Okay, so he's got the little mohawk spikes. If we hatch another egg, let's make sure our logic now works. Yes, this guy actually does not have a mutation. But I need to make it to where it's more likely to not have a mutation, and then depending on how you expose the egg to your environment, it increases the likelihood of certain mutation types. Oh, he's got ears. Oh, the ears. Oh, that's an extremely rare occurrence. That the mutation is a different color. It's extremely rare occurrence. This is the music we're listening to is music that I wrote for my Silver Falls games. He's got red ears. That's rare. I also need to make it so you can give them nicknames. Have a pizza. Oh, he's too full. Dang. You will eat pizza. Okay, so let's go ahead and just make sure that our Goobuddies are born with the attacks that they're supposed to be born with. So let's see. You see his list of actions here? He does not have any, and it should not be so. He should be born with so. Is there a demo for this? Hey, Billy Badass, what's up? Not yet. I'm still working on this, but I will eventually have public testing betas open so people can try it during development. Okay, let's make sure that this guy is born. I still need... I'm not developing the battle system fast enough. I would have liked to have had the battle system done by now, but you can see I have a lot of work to do with the programming still. And for me personally, I want the battle system to work because I want my Goobuddies to hurt someone real good. I want to see him fight. Obviously, I really enjoy monsters and I want to see him do battle. So, you know, obviously I want to get the game out. I want to be able to share the game with people. But personally, I want to see the Goobuddies fighting. For me, it's really cool to see monsters doing battle. I want to make my Goobuddies hurt someone good. So I want to attempt. Where do I have a function here that adds abilities? Attempt. Add. I'll leave that there. Home-based manager. Attempt learn. Okay. So there is a function here that is attempt learn action from variant type. And this is the logic that allows a Goobuddy to learn, but I've put this in the wrong... I put this in the wrong place. This should be in the game manager. So what I actually am going to do... This is so lazy, because I don't want to have to go and change a bunch of other things. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in there. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see why I can't put it in Game Manager. Because it has to call... yeah, okay, no. I was thinking about this all wrong. I just need to reference the home base manager. I was doing it wrong. No. Past me did do that correct. It's present me. Present me was thinking about it wrong because present me has not had enough sleep. What I need to do is reference this. Doesn't matter where I put this one actually. Oh! No. Home base manager. And now, what I do is this. Game manager home base manager equals this. Now the game manager has a reference to the home base, and so the game manager can now, when I want it to learn, if I want a Goobuddy to learn, I'll go home base manager dot attempt learn action. Oh, I see. Hold on. This is wrong. Because there's specific ways to learn actions. What I need to do is I just need to set the actual value because they're hard-coded in. So in member dot learn actions learned 0 is equal to core species. I think I need to have a coffee. I think I'm starting to fade a little bit here. I would like to make myself a coffee and get something to eat. Um, actions to learn 0. Oh, these are integer values, right? And so what we need to do is this: core dot get action ID. What we do is actually we need the number. We don't need to reference the data itself. We need to reference the ID number. And so what get action ID does is it parses through your list and it returns the ID number. And that's how we're able to learn. I'll show you the save data. If we look at the save data for our creatures, our monsters here, we look at actions learned, we need a number, and that number represents the element number of the action. So 1, 2, if his actions are 1, 2, and 3, if we look at our database, whatever element is in 1, he'll know. 2 and 3. So that number is how we define which action a Goobuddy knows. So with these lines of code here, I've added 2 lines of code. We can get rid of that. Our Goobuddies should be born with those abilities now. I've been watching your Digimon shorts and videos. Hey, thanks. Yeah, it kind of sucks that I got sort of I drifted away from the Digimon franchise because I grew up with it. And so I've played a little bit of Cyber Sleuth here and there, but not a lot. I only have a couple hours into it, but it's Time Stranger that's pulled me back in, and now I just, oh man, I've got to go. I need to catch up on the anime and the movies and the other games because I'm really enjoying Time Stranger right now. Can you attach armor or some type of other shell to fight Outer Shell? King Savage, that's a cool idea. That's really cool. No, this game doesn't have that kind of equipment, but I do really like that kind of thing. Goobuddies can have well, there's 3 different things that can happen to them. When they're born, depending on how you expose the egg to things, the eggs can be cursed. And so you can either have a cursed Goobuddy or a blessed Goobuddy. And if they're cursed, when their HP gets below a certain amount during battle, it activates their curse mask, and then they'll manifest a bone mask, and they'll have it'll be kind of creepy and aggressive, and they become more offensive. They get a little stronger when their curse activates. Or if your Goobuddy is blessed, instead of bone mask, it'll turn into what sort of looks like a masquerade mask, and they'll have a halo, and that boosts their defensive abilities. So that's sort of like a comeback mechanic. Or you can actually, if your Goobuddy is not born with a curse or being blessed, you can teach them something called overflow. And that's, these are all, we can say what it is. These are Super Saiyan forms. They're Super Saiyan transformations. And an overflow is basically, if you don't have a blessing or a curse, you can put them through really intense, rigorous training. They can learn overflow. And that gives them, so in this world, Goobuddies excrete slime. Overflow makes them excrete slime like crazy, and they'll gain something like slime wings or a slime cape or something where it's like a boosted form where their stats are overall just a bit higher. So that's kind of like their Super Saiyan form. I'm not in on the anime, but I have played most Digimon games, but I grew up in the 90s, so I like the old animes. Yeah, any of that stuff, I'm naturally going to like it a lot because I grew up in the 90s and that stuff was made for me. So I need to catch up on the games. I should play them on the DS, but I've heard the DS ones have a fair bit of grinding. Have a look at the mutation on this guy, his random mutation. I call it the Polnareff. So if you look at the stats, you look at the mutation, it's called the Polnareff. I specifically was looking at Polnareff's hairstyle when I was creating this mutation, so that's something that I really like. And let's make sure that he was born with his 2 actions. No, there's something wrong here. He was not born with his 2 actions. He should have been born. I'm very curious about your game. Keep it up. Hey, thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Billy. I'll show a little bit of how the battle system looks. I'm still in the middle of programming all of it. But first we need to figure out why he was not born with his actions, because he should have been born with his actions. So I'm just going to take a look at my stats here. So let's take a look at Gooblet. So his learnable actions. Oh, you know what? This is wrong. I need to remove that. I just need to make sure I don't need that. But I referenced that one. I referenced actions to learn when it should be learnable actions. Okay. That's what went wrong. I love this stuff. I love all the mechanics of monster raising. I love the battling. I love stat raising. I love growth. I love evolution. I love it all. Okay, let's go ahead and hatch this firework. Again, I'm going to add animations, particle effects. The egg's going to wobble. There's going to be flashing. Cool, he's got a little gem. That's his random mutation. And he should be born with an attack. Yes, we did it. Okay, very good. And of course, as they age, they learn different actions as well. So that did it. That's good. He's got this default part. So now we want to do this. The egg could have an action that they can learn. And during battle, if you expose the egg to certain actions, they can learn battle actions by you're basically throwing your egg out. If say the enemy is going to do a flamethrower, if you throw your egg out, make it get hit by the flamethrower, the egg can learn the flamethrower so that your Goobuddy will be born with certain battle actions. So let's just say if the in primer dot action, it should be target action is greater than 0. I think that's what I need. We also need to roll a dice. I'm going to come back to that. Okay, we're going to have a die roll here. Okay. All right. Die roll is equal to random dot range. We're going to go to 0 and to 100. And if the die roll is less than or equal to the in primer dot target action percent. Okay, so every time you expose your egg to an attack, it builds up percentage, and the higher the percentage is, the higher chance you have of your Goobuddy knowing that action when they are born. So what we'll do is I just need to double check my logic. So let's see if your percent is 10, the die roll has to be under 10. If the percentage is 100, then you have a 100% chance. Okay, good, 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 good. But that's, I know that's blank. They're always born with that blank thing. So what we can do is actually comment that out, because they're only ever born with one action. Let's see here. Okay, action ID. Okay, and what we're going to do is take that out. We don't need to reference that anymore. Is the in primer dot target action ID. So now let's go ahead and give our eggs some data so we can test this. Maybe an alternate finisher where your Goobuddy straight up eats the other enemy. They can't eat, but there is eating. So eat is a battle action, and there are certain attacks that are edible. So let's say an enemy shoots like fireball at you. Fireball is edible. So if you have your Goobuddy uses eat, then it prepares to eat a projectile. So instead of taking damage from fireball, your Goobuddy will eat the fireball and then it will restore its health. If your Goobuddy eats a projectile that's the same element as itself, it restores more of its health. Patriot, hey, it's good to see you. All right, we'll catch up again. We'll see you in the next videos. Thanks for hanging out, Patriot. It's good to see you. Love you, Jerrel. Hey, love you too, man. Take care. It still disheartens me that people I know who don't trust you from the incidents month. It's just the internet. It's not a big deal. But I'm still in your corner, brother. I really appreciate that. You've been awesome, and it's great to hear from you. Take care. I'll see you. Okay, so we'll go to our monster primers, um, and we're going to look at the target action ID. Where is it? Oh, I am open that. Okay, there's a lot of data in here. Target action. I'm just going to randomly pick something. I'll pick 20, and the percent, let's make it 100, so it always learns. But for the next egg, what we will do is make it less than 100. So the target action, let's make it 64, and the percent, let's make it 50%. So now there's only a 50% chance that it will be born with this action. So the first egg should definitely learn a new action. Oh, and there's something as well. Will there be a rainbow Goobuddy? I was thinking about that. I was thinking about a special Goobuddy that is constantly shifting through the different elements. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if I want to do it or not because I need to think of a good reason why I should have that, and there needs to be a mechanically satisfying reason to have that. So I've thought about it where it's shifting through different colors. Um, I just need to make sure there's a good reason for it. Okay, so we're going to hatch this one. Now, if my programming is correct, when this hatches, it should be born with two battle actions. I don't know what the second one is. I randomly picked it. Okay, he's got the fun little top there. Nice little hair. Okay, come on, please work. Please work. Yes, he's born with that second ability. Now, this guy, if we hatch our second egg, this one only has a 50% chance of getting his ability. Let's make sure that the logic is correct. We're going to come back and hatch this multiple times. Oh, this is fun. This is a fun mutation. There doesn't need to be a mechanic attached to it. It's just like rare variants. Well, all of the elements exist for a specific reason, and there has to be a lore reason for it as well. I didn't just make earth element just because there's mechanical reasons for it. Um, Especially when it comes to the missions, like all of the missions, there are specific strengths and weaknesses, uh, you know, and so it does have to make sense in terms of the lore as well. Why there's, I could think of it. I have been thinking about it. There's a good chance that I will think of a good way to implement it and make it satisfying and interesting. But I don't want to do a sixth ranger on it. You know what I mean when I say a sixth ranger? Is all of the elements are equal. It seems like they're all equally good and useful, and then a sixth ranger just comes in, and if you'll pardon my French here, I'm an adult, but I will speak, pardon my French, but the sixth ranger comes in and just shits all over everyone, and it makes everyone look absolutely useless because the sixth ranger is so good. So I need to make sure that if I do, a kaleidoscope or a prism goo buddy where they're constantly shifting colors, I just need to make sure that he doesn't do a sixth ranger on everyone and shit all over them. Okay, let's check this guy's stats. Come on, come on. Okay, he didn't have it. Let's go ahead and hatch it again. So, 50% chance that this guy will not be born with that ability. That's a glass half empty way to look at it, isn't it? Yeah, maybe a goo buddy that resembles a PC case with RGB leads. That's cool. That's a really fun idea. I like that. Okay, check his stats. Come on, come on. He got it. Hey, the logic worked perfectly, didn't it? We hatched him 2 times, and 1 time he was born with the ability, and 1 time he wasn't. That's 50-50. That's perfect. Perfect logic. It worked. Boost team's magic attacks by 50%. That's really good. Oh. But see, magic is its own element. So it's not like Digimon where there's physical and magic. Magic is one of the element types. So you would use this battle action if you have, say there's a boss fight coming up. I refer to the weekly battles as basically the boss fights, and it's going to be really specific, and it's going to say like the enemy is weak to magic, but it resists everything else, which means you have to build a whole team. You have 1 week to build a team to try to take down that boss, and the rewards are extremely valuable, of course. Cool. That I'm so glad that worked. I understand what you're saying. I was thinking more of a thing like shiny Pokemon. Yeah, I do like that rarity sort of thing. There already is a sort of rare variant like that in the form of the mutations. There's an extremely rare submutation where the mutation can be a different color. So you see this guy is a Mohawk. There can be a very rare mutation where that can be a different color than his body. Normally, the mutation is the exact same color as your body because it's just a goo creature. So the rare variant allows the mutation to be a different color. That's this game's form of shiny. But um, I do really would like the color shifting Goobuddy. I mean, I'm glad to hear you say that you're interested in that, that you would like it, and it does encourage me to think of a good reason. So I will think about it. I'll show you some beta graphics right now. Hey, Wayne, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Are you planning a multiplayer battle like an old Pokemon? I do want to have player versus player battles. I do want that. The problem is I need to have a second Switch development kit in order to develop that. Even if I have this on other platforms, I need to have all of the hardware that I'm going to put this game on. I need to have multiple versions of it because the battle system that I design, I need to simultaneously design it across all of the different platforms to make sure that I create it from day one that it works. I don't have a second development kit for the Switch. I can't really afford a second one right now, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I do really, really want player versus player battle. This is a goo gem. It's what you use to teach your goo buddy a new battle action, but this is actually the beta graphics. I made this and I didn't like it at all. And so the final version looks like this goo. This is the final one. And this actually, that's a placeholder shader. It should look a little more like that. So this is the final one. It's not catching the light enough, though. You know what I mean? Like I want that. I want the gem inside to be very shiny. So right now it's not shining enough. I just want it to catch the light. There we go. It should look a bit more like that. So this is what it's going to look like in the actual game. You feed your goo buddy the goo gem, they absorb it, and they learn new battle actions. And this is what it was going to look like. I made this, and I really don't like it. It just turned out, in my head, I thought there would be like slime or something in the middle, and then it would have physics animation. And I put it in the engine. I thought that looks bad. I don't like that at all. Then I made this one, and I'm quite pleased with how this one turned out. You need two for testing. I didn't know that. I do testing and development for a living, but not on Nintendo. Yeah, I need a second development kit because I need to have the two. I need to have the game installed on both, and then I need to, the battle system. I need to have it running to develop. Balance in game design is fundamental to making a good game. Oh yeah, especially if there's going to be player versus player battles. Uh, it's so difficult to get balance right because you can end up in situations. You can end up like a mega Sizor situation where you have like technician bullet punch or whatever, and it's just like okay, fella, or you get into like a Breloom spore situation where the Breloom can just spore everybody, and then it's lights out. You have to be really careful for creating situations like that. I really love PvP and monster taming games. I'm very sad the new Digimon doesn't have it. I'm a I feel similarly, but I'm glad that the game is what it is. The game would be very different if it had PvP, and I think it wouldn't be as wild and varied in terms of the Digimon and the moves that you get during battle. If there were PvP, I think it would feel a bit more plain and restricted because they would be concerned with balance. So I'm glad, but also a little bummed out that there isn't PvP because I would really like to battle people with my Digimon. And that's in the spirit of the original Digimon virtual pets. You put them together, you make them fight. That's what I like. I like making them hurt people. I like making the monster hurt people good. Let's just get now. Let's test my probability a little bit more. Let's go to our third egg here. Oh, I want to hatch this cool thing. This is slot number 8. Let's go ahead and change the percentage on it. That's 0, right? If I try to hatch that, it says it's totally blank. So you've got to take this egg into battles. You've got to go to different environments so the egg can pick up genetic data. Let's go and edit our save data. Monster primers. It was slot number 8. Let's give that. There would definitely be a meta, but my favorite thing to do is try and break the meta with my favorite characters. I like that. I almost ruined a friendship with Aloma Mola. Um, a friend of mine, we battled, and I had a Loma Mola, and I was, pardon my French, I was being an asshole. I used Toxic, and then I had leftovers, Aqua Ring, and then I was bouncing and diving, and I took down like 5 of its dudes in a row with that Aloma Mola strategy. And eventually I just switched out because my friend was getting frustrated, and I felt so bad because I was being shitty. And I now I'm older and wiser, and I know that I'm never gonna do that to a friend again. I'll do it on randoms online because it's funny, but I'm never gonna be an a-hole to a friend again like that. So we want number 8 to hatch. Let's go ahead and go to our fill percent. Let's see here. Let's go target species 2. Okay, target variant. Um, what's Phantom? Is Phantom 15? I want a Phantom. I want it so good. Give me that Phantom. Yeah, Phantom's 14. I'm gonna give myself a Phantom. I want it real good. Target action, I'm gonna randomly pick one. 47. And the action percent, we'll make it 25. He only has a 25% chance of being born with the second action. Okay, and then we also want to set a target uh, mutation. Oh, you know what? Now let's implement mutation percent. Yes. Let's give him 75% on that mutation. Um, lucky number 17. Okay, let's go back to our other fellows and give them a mutation percent as well, and we will program that. Let's say 100, so the first one will always have the mutation. Second one will be 50% again. So we'll go to mutation percent. And this guy can be 25 on his mutation percent. So now we'll need to program the logic for that. We'll use the die roll again. I'm just going to copy and paste this, which is it's so lazy. I'm copying and pasting. I'm copying and pasting. All right. Okay. What? Um, in primer dot target mutation is greater than 0, and mutation percent. Okay. And this is the logic that actually gives us. Ooh, hold on. I need a coffee. I desperately need a coffee at this point. Okay, so now we have the logic. I've added that logic. It checks for the mutation ID. Then it rolls a dice. If it's less than the mutation percent, then the Goobuddy will be born with the mutation. Let's go ahead and test our logic. I love all strats. It's so fun. I love finding the ridiculous stuff. Back in the days of X and Y, oh man, I really enjoyed the randoms online on X and Y. And I took down so many people with Dedenne. Like you could make people rage quit with Dedenne. What I would do is I would parafusion would make people rage because you came in. People would have like all legendaries, right? And I would send out a Dedenne, and the first thing I would do was I would confuse them, and then they have like a 50% chance of hitting themselves. And then if it worked out, I would do Nuzzle, they would get confused. So then there's a 50% and then a 25%. And then after that, I would just keep flashing them. And then normally I would wait until someone sends out their Xerneas. They're always sending out their Xerneas or a Veltal. So I would parafusion them, I would flash them like 2 or 3 times, and then I would swap out to my Vivillon. And then what I would do with my Vivillon is I would just quiver dance until I'm maxed out. And then, so even if they can't act, there's a strong chance that they're missing because of I flashed them a couple times. And then my Vivillon's already maxed out on its stats. So then I quiver danced, and then I would just sweep the whole team with Vivillon. I used to do that, and it's funny how often that worked on randoms online, and that's how I would play X and Y. Ooh, okay. Billy over here is a belly drummer, Azumarill. Yeah, we know what's up, Billy. We know what's going on. Is there a beefy Goobuddy with healing capabilities? Yes, yes, I'll show you. Okay, let's just we'll test this. See how we made that 100%? Okay, that's the wrong egg. I need to figure out why that's supposed to be a spiral, so we need to fix that. I don't know why that's wrong. Okay, I don't have any error messages though, but we do need to fix that. Okay, now let's hatch these and we'll see. Belly drum Azumarill is so dangerous, and of course you have to get your IVs right, of course, so that if you have a berry that you want him to eat, then he'll eat the berry as soon as he does the belly drum. And if your IVs are wrong, then he won't eat the berry. Um, and that's, I think, what I just said is prove that you played Pokemon without saying that you played Pokemon. I think I passed the test just then. And this one has a 25% chance of a mutation, right? First guy had a 100%. Yes. So he was not born with a mutation. The little antlers. Let's feed this guy. Give him orange jailer. He did have a mutation. This guy had a 50% chance of mutation. Okay. Um, this guy had a 100%. This guy had a 50%. Ah, he does not have a mutation because he only had 50%. And this guy had a 25% chance of having a mutation. Oh, no, it was this guy. He doesn't have one. Okay. Okay, that percentage seems to work. So you asked about a beefy healer. I'll go to my So this is funny. This is Rain Dish. He looks like I know he looks like a toilet. Um, I was making him. He was meant to be a rain dish, and I thought it was hilarious that he looked like a toilet, so I left it. But he obviously they can be any different um, element, and the element changes the color. So I'll look at the stats for rain dish here. This is the best healer in the game, or I think he is the best. If we have a look at his stats, I leave myself a note here. So this guy, he's beefy. He has high defense, viscosity, and power. And viscosity affects how long your positive stat. Um, when you have a status ailment and your stat buffs, having high viscosity makes it last longer. If you have a debuff or a negative stat, high viscosity makes you recover from those faster. And when you get healed, if you have higher viscosity, you get more health back. So those are my notes for him. High defense, viscosity, and power, very low speed and intelligence, right? So his stat growth here, if you have a look at power is 6, but his defense goes up by 7. His intelligence is quite low; it only goes up by 3 every time train. But these are his actions that are unique to his species. The Slime Fountain. So Slime Fountain increases the viscosity of the whole team. So your whole team will get more effects from healing, basically. And then his ultimate action is special attack, Jiggle Attack, when his Jiggle meter fills up. When you get hit from enemies, your Jiggle meter fills up, and then they'll use their Jiggle Attack, X Regen. X Regen restores the team's HP. So this is the absolute best healer in the game. And it works hand in hand because he's meant to have high defense. And let's look at some other guys. Um, who do who do I think is would be who's probably you know what? Uh, let's look at this guy. This is Balloon. Let's see what Balloon does. Balloon stats. I had a water team. Does he flush? No, because he's not actually a toilet. He doesn't flush. He's a rain dish. Um, I had a water team, Azumarill, Pelipper. Oh, Pelipper, yeah. Pelipper's risen up, man. People are really they're giving a lot of love to Pelipper, and I like to see it. Swampert, Swampert has the hands. Chris, Hackers, good day. Acres. I had a water team, Azumarill, Pelipper, Greninja, Protean, Greninja, yeah. Politoed and Slowbro. Nice. I just like building teams not because Pokemon have really high stats, but because they look cool, and I want to find an interesting strategy, you know. So this is Balloon, and my development notes on this guy are high intelligence and speed. You can see the base stats, and of course the egg type affects the stats when they're born. So this guy's, I think he's meant to be a glass cannon, I think is what it is. If you have a look at his defense, it's pretty low. 4 is pretty low for an adult. Um, let's see, his viscosity is average. Intelligence is quite high, which is good. Your intelligence allows you to use good moves more often. The very good moves, they have a lower probability of being used. So the higher your intelligence is, the more likely your Goobuddy is to use the good moves. If you have a stupid Goobuddy, it's very unlikely he'll use the good moves. And his speed, oh yeah, look at his growth. His growth rate on speed is very good. So this guy is, I think he's meant to. Oh, his power is not good. Oh, this is a support unit. So this guy's offenses are not good. You're meant to give this guy actions that require high intelligence, and he can kind of basically spam them because he has high intelligence and high speed. So this is a very different type of unit. He's not a glass cannon and he's not a tank. Um, so his signature moves are Coagulate, 2, and what Coagulate does, let's see, is that correct? Oh, that's wrong. That's supposed to increase viscosity. So that's, see, this, I need to come back and check all of this because some of this is wrong. That's not supposed to be agility. That's meant to be viscosity. I'll fix that. You can see the values are wrong here. Yeah, I do know that I need to come back and check everything. So his signature ability boosts his own viscosity. And let's see what his other one is. Yeah, I designed the mechanics of the battle system because I want to create something that gives people like an interesting way to build their Goobuddies because their mutation and their actions and what they're born with totally change the way that you can use that Goobuddy. Oh, he has Catastrophe Beam. Catastrophe Beam is base power 85, which is absurdly high. Oh, he makes up for his low power by having Catastrophe Beam. So let's look at a basic attack in general. Let's look at Body Slam. Body Slam has a base power of 10. There we go. Base power of 10. This guy's ultimate attack, base power 85. That's absurdly high. But he's meant to be a support unit. You customize him the way that you want. You can make him the best. Either he can debuff the enemy or he can buff your team because he has high intelligence and speed. Let's go ahead. Well, I'll show you more designs again, but I'll just show you some of the stuff that you can learn. Yeah. Just, I want people to. I love Digimon, I love Pokemon, but I want this game to be very different. Mechanically, the way that people think about Goobuddies, the way that they engage with their Goobuddies and build them, I want it to be very different than what we already have. You know, I love monster raising games, but I want to give people something new, you know, something exciting. And everything about this game, mechanically, I've designed it because I want it to be something interesting and exciting to engage with. So if we go to training, some battle actions you can learn through training, and these are the ones where they're common. I consider these common, right? You have a couple things. I need to add it to. I haven't entered the description for all of them. But things like eating. If you have your Goobuddy eat, they can eat projectiles, so instead of taking damage, they'll restore their health. You have defend, jumping. There's a bunch of other things. Metabolize. So let's see. If the user has recently eaten a projectile, restore HP, heal status ailments, and reset stat buffs. So metabolize A is a pretty good one. Metabolize B, and if user has recently eaten a projectile, you hit all the enemies, attack all the enemies. So, you can restore your health. There's some other moves, Sonic, Jigglyfy, boost jiggliness. So there's a couple different things that you can teach them, but the very best moves, you have to earn them from the bounties. So you go to the bounties, and it's going to be hourly. You're not going to get Goo Gems. Goo Gems let you teach Goobuddies, but you go to your dailies and your weeklies. Your dailies give you common Goo Gems, and your weeklies give you the rare Goo Gems. So those are the very, very best ones. If you go to your food, your Goo Gems, let's look at the stats for Chunky, right? Right now he has up to Light Ball. If we go to food, you can see on the Goo Gems here, right? You can see the ones that you're able to learn. Any Goo Gem that you can learn is going to be on this list, and the very best stuff will be on this list. So this is how you customize your Goobuddy. You turn them into the type of unit, the type of fighter that you want. Is this... Let's see. So I'm teaching him Phantom Flare. I gave him the Phantom Flare Goo Gem. He eats the Goo Gem. If I go to the stats, he now has Phantom Flare. You can see it's a base power of 18, which is really low. And the recoil is 9.5 seconds, but it hits all the enemies. But I think there's a special effect to it that I have not entered in there. So that's how you teach Goobuddy new actions. So yeah, you can either train them. So let's train him, right? Right now he has Phantom Flare. If we go to training, we'll go to Goobuddies. Let's teach him Defend 1. And normally it's going to take about 6 minutes or so, but I've made it temporarily to where it only takes a couple seconds. So now he's done the training and he's learned it. So you have some actions that are always available, and then some actions you just have to keep doing a bunch of different battles. The rewards will be randomized. So that's part of the appeal, is you want to keep doing different battles to keep getting more Goo Gems. So those are the two different ways to learn. Sungran, your views on Yote, is it too much surrounding to support the game? Are you talking about Ghosts of Yote? I don't have any views on Ghosts of Yote. I haven't played, what's the first game? Ghost of Tsushima? I haven't played that one. I heard people really like it. I don't know anything about Ghosts of Yote. I don't know if it'll be good or bad. If it's the same developers, I assume the game will be good. Maybe he can see... what does viscosity translate as? Billy Battis. So viscosity affects your status ailments. If you get a positive status ailment, then your viscosity affects how long it lasts. If you get a negative status ailment, viscosity affects how long it lasts. You can heal from a negative status ailment faster. That also applies to your stat buffs and debuffs. When you get healed, having high viscosity makes you get healed more, and then you have certain actions that are slime element. Let me see if we hatch. Let's hatch an egg. We'll hatch this guy because I know that he's born. And then I'm not interested in like supporting or talking about a game or saying, oh, don't buy this game. I'm only going to talk about the games that I actually care about and I actually like. If we go to his stats, Gooblet was born with Slime Shot, but there's something missing. They're supposed to be born with an action based on their element. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll fix that now. So he's born with Slime Shot. And so your viscosity, if you increase the power of if you increase your viscosity stat, your slime actions will get stronger. But see, here's the balance thing to it. Slime actions are generally way weaker. If you have like Fireball or something, Fireball is going to be way, way stronger than Slime Shot. All the slime stuff are pretty weak, and that's because slime can be boosted with viscosity. Other elements cannot be boosted with stats. And everyone has access to slime. Like a fire element Goobuddy cannot learn ice attacks. He cannot learn water, he can't learn plant, but he can learn slime. So slime is like, it levels the playing field. AAA games are trash. You know, I don't like being negative, but I will say that games that were made by committee and they're designed to waste the player's time, and that they're designed to force the player to buy season passes because it's wasting their time, I will say those games are trash. I think they're complete garbage, and it just so happens that most of those games tend to be AAA. So that's viscosity. We're gonna fix it so that they're born with an element, right? Okay, here we go. So this is if they're born with a target action, but I'm going to change that actually. And what I will do is this. Now we're going to, earlier I referenced the home base manager. Home base manager dot attempt learn action from Goo variant. And I programmed this last night. It was a lot of work. What it does is it checks the Goobuddies element, and then it tries to learn an action from that element. Okay? So now every Goobuddy that hatches, they should be born. They randomly pick one of the battle actions from their element. And every element has a set number of battle actions that they can learn. Okay. That sounds good. I enjoy your positivity. You know, when I was younger, I can say it, I was an edgy teenager, right? I was, you know, that's just part of life. I listened to a lot of Chemical Romance. I will say it. I do still, if there's a good My Chem song, I'll listen to it. But I was pretty edgy. I was pretty dark when I was a teenager. I never did like the eyeliner or studded belts or anything like that. But I listened to it. Dashboard Confessional, Fall Out Boy, all that stuff. The Used. I listened to a lot of The Used. I will still listen to The Used. Some of it. Some of it I think might be a little too edgy for me. Yeah, you go through different stages in your life. And I've reached a point where I realize you get to pick. You get to determine what your attitude is. You get to choose how you behave. And it's taken me decades to figure that out because I think I'm not that smart. So it did take me a few decades to determine, oh, I get to choose how I feel. I get to choose how I act. And the way that you act affects other people. Like if you act really shitty, if you act really negative, people around you are going to feel worse. That's just how it is. And if you can choose to view the world however you want, and if you choose to respond to things with a chill attitude, with positivity, other people are going to feel better. The people around you are going to have better lives. So that's the way that I see it. Now, if you look at this guy's stats, okay, something wrong. Something went wrong. He didn't learn. Why won't you learn? There's supposed to be an element in there. Let's hatch another egg and see what went wrong, because something's not right. I'm a Metallica kid. Yeah, nice. I enjoy. You know what? That stuff though. That's not just for moody teenagers. Metallica, AC/DC, all those classic bands and stuff. That's for everyone. Everyone can enjoy it. So did this guy go wrong as well? Something's wrong. Something went wrong here. Now, what is happening? They're they are supposed to learn an action from their variant, and I know this works. I've tested it. So why didn't it work? This is the variant type. The member variant is set. I need to figure out why this didn't work. I'm just going to run the test again and see what happens. I need a little bit more information. I have played guitar for 20 years now. Are you a musical person? Yeah, nice. I am a musical person. 1 to 2 nights out of the week I go out for music sessions. I always go to Irish music sessions at the pub. It's traditional Irish music. Uh, Sometimes I'll go to folk music clubs, country music clubs, but I'm a big classic rock guy. Anything from the Eagles, Creedence Clearwater, anything from those kind of bands. I enjoy that sort of stuff. Uh, huge Pink Floyd fan. What did I play the other night? I played something that nobody expected. Hold on, let me grab. I'm gonna duck over real quick. I'm gonna grab my music phone. This is my book that I take to music sessions. I'll open that up. Sometimes I'll do Paint It Black, but I'll do an acoustic guitar version, and people generally really like that. To have a room full of people or a pub full of people singing along is really cool, and people tend to like Paint It Black. What did I do the other night? Fear of the Dark. Oh yeah, I did Fear of the Dark acoustic guitar the other night, and that's a cool one. I really like. Anyway, so and of course you have your things like Take Me Home Country Road. People really like that. That we would get along very well. Well, we're getting along very well right now, as it is. I've been to country music clubs, but here's the thing, right? Like, this is a problem that I've not seen in other types of music clubs. But country music clubs tend to have a lot of infighting. People get pretty catty. I do enjoy bluegrass as well and all that stuff. So I just need to collect more information. I need to see why they didn't learn. I think I messed up my controller plug. USBs are wonky sometimes. Okay, I'm going to hatch this guy. We're going to see what happens. What sort of music do you play? Like, when you go somewhere, you play something, Billy, what do you play? So, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you learn? But I do know this works. I know that works. Something's wrong here. It is referencing the correct member. That is correct. No, it's not. It's not referencing the correct member. Oh, this is frustrating. Wow. I'm gonna try and cheese it here. This is really bad. So I'm leaving myself an as diff tag, and an as diff tag helps me find the spot that I needed to come back to. Classic rock, yeah, you got it, man. Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, yes, absolutely. Eddie Van Halen, Ozzy, very nice. I've got a Flying V that I play when I'm recording my rock stuff, and like I did a soundtrack a year or two ago that was 80s style rock. I'll play some of it. Do I have it here? Is it not on my list? Oh, man. Oh, look. Let me find it really quick. Um, I'll play a track. This is one of the tracks that I did from this is from my game Silver Falls Guardians of Metal Exterminators. I did like 80s style soundtrack. I was trying to do like 80s rock. Let me know if the music's too loud. Advice dog, I sometimes wish I was never existed. Play another track. This one, this one was actually someone who DJs a radio station actually asked to play some of my music on the radio last year. So this track that I'm going to play next, this was actually played on the radio here in Australia. Uh, yeah. Um, Billy Badass, I have always dreamed of having a real Gibson V. Yeah, I have an American Fender Strat and a couple Jacksons. Very nice, very nice. Um, I don't have that many electric guitars because I mostly do acoustic instruments. So I have that Flying V, and I have an Ibanez Art Core. I think it's a 2002. I bought that when I was a teenager using my teenager money, and that was full. That was an expensive. It's a Sunburst semi hollow body. This one was played on the radio. That's not gonna work. This is not work. I've run an errand and return shortly. Sure, yeah. This isn't gonna. I know it's not gonna work. Oh man, I think I need a coffee and lunch. Is what I need. I need a reference number. All right, that's some of the music that I wrote for one of my games, Silver Falls, Gaiden Deathly Delusion Destroyers. That was it was so cool hearing that thing over the radio, and I found out that um, I don't really have an FM radio, so I had to get one, and then I had to hold the radio in a certain spot in my house in order to hear the radio station. So I have to make this work. Hold on. What's happening is I'm passing a reference to this argument and not the actual uh, data itself. So what I need to do, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. What I need to do is manually reference the actual instance of that character data. Oh, wait. Oh no, maybe it was working and I had that messing things up. Is that, oh, is that my mistake? Did I make that mistake? Is it going to work now? Because I had that line of code that I didn't pay attention to. I think it may work. He should know Fire Slam. It says he should know Fire Slam. Okay. Nope, not in there. It's not in there. Oh, of course, because I put that in there. I think I need to stop and have something to eat. I think I've gone on long enough without having anything to eat today. Okay, we're gonna hatch this bad boy. You should know fire razor beam. Okay, I was being a goofball. I had a line of code in there that I was supposed to take out. I did all this extra work for nothing. This is what happens when you're not you when you're hungry. I should have had a Snickers, is what should have happened, which means I don't need this. I should have had a Snickers. That's my fault. Okay, home attempt, learn. I thought that was weird. Okay, it should work perfectly fine now. So if I hatch these eggs, every time the egg is hatched, will randomly learn one of the moves from its element group. Okay, let's hatch this bad boy. It's fire. He'll probably, oh, he's learned sharpen too. Sharpen is part of the fire situation, the fire element um, move pool. Okay, let's go ahead and hatch this one. And now I want to make it so this won't show up because I don't, excuse me, I don't want this to show up when they're hatching. I only want them that message to show if they learn an ability later on. So he does. Oh, he has Avalanche and X Magic Boost. Okay. I want a buddy that looks like a shoe and attack with laces like tentacles. Hey, best seven Nye. That's you got some great ideas. I really like that. It kind of feels like you understand the spirit of Goobuddies already, and the game isn't even out yet. That's absolutely in keeping with Goobuddies. So let's go ahead and so every time they learn from their element, it displays a message, but I want to be able to not display the message. So I'm going to ask for a Boolean value and in display message. And now how we have display small alert, I only want that to display the small alert if I say true to that. Okay? I will put that there as well, if in display message, because I don't want that message to be shown when they're hatching. I only want it if they learn that later on. So we can go ahead and remove that. We no longer need that anymore. And now, home base manager. False. False means don't show the message that they've learned an attack. Oh, this is my testing code, but I can actually remove this now. I don't actually need this anymore. Let's go ahead and remove that. Comment it out. Okay, let's hatch this water one. And this is a shape where it says they get more intelligence. Okay, has no mutation. Has little fins. And let's see what he was born with. He's born with Waterfall. Waterfall ignores defense but increases the target's jiggle meter quickly. Huh, okay. Let's hatch another egg. Boy, this is so fun hatching eggs. Wow. And see the shapes determine if they get extra stats as well. You know, more viscosity, extend lifespan. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Stats. Gooblet. All right, he was born with Slime Shock and Defense 2. Now that's a better. Wait, no, that's named wrong. Uh, I need to fix the naming on that. It's incorrect. Why did I call it that? Coagulate. So you have liquefy. You have sharpen, liquefy, coagulate. I really want that to be defensify because it's a funny. I think this is just a funny naming convention. It just adds to the. It's quirky and whimsical, but also it builds a sense that this world, this lore, it has its own sort of vernacular, its own way of referring to things. So it accomplishes multiple things at the same time. So that's meant to be defensify. It's sort of like how you have intellify, makes you more intelligent. Okay. Of course, sharpen should be sharpify, shouldn't it? Should be. Okay. Hey, Ray, how's it going? How did you come up with the name of your studio? I thought it was something that sounded positive. You know, it's two words that we just the sun we associate with positivity and life and growth, and grand is just something that's big and good. So I I assembled a name that felt like something that would have been a name studio in the '90s, like a game studio in the '90s. I really appreciate that. Thanks. Um, I'm gonna need a coffee so soon. So now, when did you just get here? Um, there's a bunch of stuff that we've actually been working on today. We've actually been working on the genetic data from the egg. We're actually passing it on to the Goobuddies when they're being born. So right now, what I'm going to work on next, right now, this stats where it says genetics have more viscosity, have more power, that is not actually being implemented yet. It says it in the description, but it's not implemented. So what I'm going to do next in code is I'm going to make sure that works. It's great to see you. Is it Rye or Ray? What's the correct way to say that? So, like, I'll hatch this one, or power, I'll hatch this one, and you'll see that um, the stats will be generic. The stats are not being calculated. So, what I want to do is now implement those actual unique aspects of the eggs. So, I'll open up my eggs and I'll see. So, this guy is born. We haven't implemented that. You see his power is 10, right? Rye, like the bread. I okay. So, pumpernickel has a very long shelf life. I bought pumpernickel the other day and I meant to have it. It's been sitting in my shelf and I think I'll eat it today. I will. I will have pumpernickel today. I forgot about it entirely. Okay, so I want to look at my eggs. Eggs, where did I put them? Right. So instead of putting, like, I could have put integer values, but I wanted it to be, it looks like I wanted a set value because I want there to be bumps in the stat. Like there'll be a stat bonus that's added when they evolve to the next stage. And so, to that end, I decided instead of having an integer value defined, that I would just have that bool, the boolean value. So I'm going to say if extra talent power. Okay, so egg. I need to make sure I have the egg ID. That's item ID. Monster primer. Now there's something that I need to do here. I need to make sure that it's the item ID that determines the egg. Okay. So let's clean this up a little bit. It's a little messy right now. And what we're going to, okay, I have this here, come back and apply actual stats from the eggs. So I'm going to apply actual stats from the eggs. I'm going to say if core dot eggs, and we're going to get the number of in primer dot item ID. Okay, so we're getting the data, the database. Eggs dot extra lifespan. Oh, is greater than 0. Yeah, we want extra lifespan, right? Okay, and then we want the in member to increase their lifespan. In member dot extra dot lifespan remaining plus is equal to this one here. Have you tried the stuffed bread from Domino's yet? Whoa! I'm gonna check the Domino's menu. No, I haven't had the stuff. You know, for a while, so Domino's here in Australia for a while was doing Cheesy Volcano, and Cheesy Volcano was my personality type for about 9 months or whatever when I was having it. But they stopped serving it. I'm absolutely gutted because that was my personality type. Everything that I cared about was Cheesy Volcano. It was stuffed crust bread, right? It was stuffed crust all the way around, and it was sort of like thin bread, and it was filled with nacho cheese. So I would buy one of the pepperoni bread things, and then you tear up the pepperoni bread into pieces, you dip it into the nacho cheese. Mm. That was my personality type, and they stopped selling it. And after that, I lost sight of who I was. I lost sense of my identity because they took away the one thing that made me unique, and the only thing that made me unique was cheesy volcano at Domino's, and it was gone. Um, did uh, did you design the background and stuff, or did you buy those assets from somewhere? These are purchased assets that are placeholders. I have my own trees and grass that I'll be putting in, but these I bought. I'm going to keep the buildings because I quite like the buildings, and so I'm using the buildings and the props. I bought those, and that's an excellent way to help you get through um, development because they're not everyone specializes in everything. Not everyone can create graphics like these very quickly, um, and so there's certain things where I'll buy assets because I know that's my weak point, and it would take me a very long time to create those. Um, if it's something that has artistic value to it, artistic merit, I'm trying to express and say something, I'll do it myself, even if it's very difficult for me, even if I'm not good at it, I will do it. But when it comes to buildings like this is exactly what I want. I want the buildings to look like that, and they're not meant to draw attention or focus. So I don't make these buildings myself. I bought those. But the anything that has to do with Goobuddies or special attacks or the items or the food, all of those things have artistic value. I'm trying to communicate and say something. So those things I do myself. I have trees and grass that I made. They're in another project folder, so I just need to grab them out. I haven't done it yet, but I will do those. Billy, hey, what's up? Have you played Dragon Quest Monster? Yeah, you know I've played Dragon Quest Monsters. I really like the ones on the Game Boy Color. I really like the ones on the 3DS. I played some on the 3DS. I think I played ones on the DS. I'm pretty sure. Um, I think the 3DS ones are my favorite, but I'm partial to the 3DS. I'm just a big 3DS guy. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Okay, so we want um, extra talent. We'll just do it alphabetically. Okay, so if it has agility, then in member dot growth agility. Oh, I hope I messed something up. Okay, I took that out. Growth, agility plus. So we'll make it a base value of 30. So when it's born, it'll have a base value of 30, but when it evolves, it'll gain another bump to that stat. Okay. Let's see what the next stat is. Agility, defense. We'll just make it a base 30 boost right now. That's a big bump, honestly. HP. Did I go growth health? Let's make that. Let's make that 60. 50. Oh, see, I don't know. I don't know. Make it a base. Make it 50. Intelligence. I don't know why I copied that. There's no reason. No reason to copy that. Intelligence, jiggliness. Oh, you know, but that is. This is a hidden stat. There's squishiness is different. Hold on, I'm missing some data here. Um, I need a. I have a stat that's missing, so I have to add it. This is the save data for the creature. Okay, but I now need to go back and add that in here, so I'll come back to that. There is this. I need to add that here. Member target, growth, jiggliness is equal to n member source dot growth jiggliness. I was missing a step. You're not meant to be able to affect the jiggliness. The jiggliness affects how quickly a monster fills up their jiggle meter. Some Goobuddies actually their jiggle meter, which is their special attack, it fills up faster than other Goobuddies, and that's how I balance out. Some Goobuddies are weaker; they're just naturally weaker, you know. But their jiggle meter fills up faster, which allows them to access their ultimate attack more often. So that's how I balance out. And that the younger Goobuddies, they have higher jiggliness naturally, so that allows them to um, do their special more often. Okay. Jiggliness power. Obi-Wan underestimates my power. That's not supposed to be 50. That's supposed to be 30. 50 doesn't feel like a big enough bump. 60. I'm doing 60. Is there anything else? Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, now, depending on our eggs, we're going to see a significant growth or a significant change in the stats when we hatch our monsters with the coding that we just did. What's Kobe's Adventure on the Game Boy Color? I haven't heard of that. Kobe's Adventure. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's the subtitle for Dragon, Dragon Quest, Dragon Warriors. Oh yeah, I've played that. Yeah. There's something very charming about RPGs on the Game Boy Color. They're so creative and interesting, you know, because of the limited technology and the low resolution. So this guy doesn't get anything special, right? This has more power. Power. Okay, so when we look at the stats, he should have significantly higher power. Expedition 33. Oh man, a mate of mine told me that's the best game you've ever played. One day I'll get to it. Moment of truth. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. Look at his power. His power is 40. He's born with 40. When he evolves to the next stage, he'll get another free boost. And then when he evolves to the next stage after that, he'll get another power boost afterward as well. Cool. Let's go ahead and test our other ones. Eggs. This one says more viscosity, extended lifespan, intelligence, and jiggliness. More viscosity. Let's hatch it. You're still in the second act of Expedition 33. people seem to really like it. So I'm looking forward to that. There is a YouTube channel that it seems like this guy comes across as some sort of authority on game development, and he's made these outlandish, big, massive claims that Expedition 33 is the ugliest game that he's ever seen. And I'm so disappointed because he seemed like he knew what he was talking about, but then he made a claim like that, and I thought I can't take anyone seriously if they say something like that. If they say, "Oh, this is the ugliest game I've ever seen," have you ever seen any other video games before? If you think Expedition 33 is the ugliest game you've ever seen, then you have never seen any other video games. Your reaction to all the Digimon game, and it's so funny. That's just naturally how I respond to the games. Like, you know what really irritates me are reaction channels because you can tell they're fake. And I've seen friends watching reaction channels, and you can tell the reactions are pre-recorded, and the people aren't even actually watching the thing. It's just, and you see them actually recycling their reactions, and it's like, I would rather watch AI slop than this. This is disgusting. That someone pre-recorded like 6 reactions. They'll play a clip and then they just recycle their own. It's so disgusting. I hate that so much. So I really dislike reaction stuff, and it that sort of thing disgusts me. It's exploitative. It's manipulative of the audience. And so for me, I just want to share, you know, the game. It should be about the game. So when I do those videos, I want to share the game with you. I want it to feel like we're hanging out, and that is how I discuss games with my friends. I'm going over to my buddy's place after work at 7:30, and we're going to play Legends CA. We're going to start the game at the same time, and that's the way that I did the videos with the Digimon stuff at the evolutions. That's how I hang out with my friends. That's how we talk about games. Um, a bipedal a species. You never played tape loading games. I never had a console where you needed to load tape cassette, so I am very fortunate. The oldest console I've played is the Atari 2600. I think, um, no, I had some Amigas with the floppy disks. I've had those. He's born with Winter Buster Bean, and he was born with high viscosity and winter mustard bean. That's what my pa always said. So my programming has worked. So the coding, you can see the coding that I've done here. All of that stuff, it now allows your Goobuddies to be born with certain boosts to their stats, to just have a natural boost to that. And that is down to the egg shape. Now I want to know why is this one wrong? Because it should be a spiral, yet it is not a spiral. It comes out as a star. This one was correct, but this one is not. Now I shall take a look at my hatchery. Aiko, hey, how's it going? We're hanging out. We're just making some games here. Uh, right now, I've been programming the egg hatching system. At the start of the stream, a Goobuddy was born, but it didn't have any unique traits. So we've made a lot of progress. So it should go from round, slender. Am I missing one? Let me have a look. I'm just going to open my list and see because it's showing the wrong egg. It should be a spiral, but I'm getting a star. Right? We have standard, which is this guy, angular, conical, hourglass, prism, round. Oh, you know what? It might be going based on the ID. Okay, okay. That resets it. Reset visuals. Go to my hatchery. So I need to start hatching. I'm referencing the wrong variable. Start hatch egg. Hatch. Control F is the most important thing. It's the find function. If you look on the right, there's yellow. Wow, it's the Yanni Laurel situation. Orange. You see the orange rectangles let me know where occurrences have occurred where it says hatch. You have an A500 with Pystorm. Nice. I had an A500 last year, but I sold it. I had two Amigas. I've sold them. Probably. I'm still playing retro games. Um, but I have a lot of those games. I have a number of retro emulation devices. I keep them hooked up to the TV because when I need to take a short break, I generally need a game that I can play in short bursts. So I usually play a game from the 80s. You know, I really like Coleco and Atari 2600 games because I can still explore and find stuff that I've never played before, but take a break late at night for a couple minutes and then hop back into work. Like last night, I was working until 2 a.m. You know, so the egg. Uh, I need to fix this. It's displaying the wrong egg. I want to start the egg hatching. Okay, and the target slot is wrong. I don't want the target slot. What I want is I need to access my save data in game manager dot get current save data dot monster primers, and I get the monster primer target slot, but I need the item ID. That's it. That'll do it. That'll fix it. I can't believe it. I can't believe I messed that up so bad. Oh, the A500 Mini looks so cool. I've really wanted to get more mini consoles, but they're kind of expensive. Look up the old N64. I have my N64 is there, and I have a cartridge, a flash cartridge, so I can put my homebrew ROMs. That if I make homebrew stuff, I can run it on these N64. But it has all the N64 games on it. Have you ever played Viva Pinata? I haven't. I've seen Viva Pinata, but I haven't played it. I can't believe how slovenly I look with my tie crooked. Small kids generally like retro games because of the colors and the simplicity. I like them because there's usually something mechanically interesting, and once you figure it out, it becomes a matter of mastery over that simple mechanical functionality. They're fun. I don't have to remember a ton of controls, so if I need a game that I can just jump in and enjoy for a few minutes, uh, vintage games are significantly more appropriate for that. I had an overactive PC. It was fun. I loved it as a kid, very friendly, and I felt bad for having to kill the sick pinatas. Oh no! You had an overactive PC. My son loves playing Astro. Do you mean Astro Bot, not Astro Boy? Because those are two different, very different things. So I think he will like the old games. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, kids. I've seen kids really enjoy um, old games still. I think vintage games are still very good. Okay, if we hatch this, it was incorrect before. It was the star. It's wrong still. What have I done? That ain't correct at all. It should be this one. It should be this. Item ID. Target slot. Why? Why ain't you working? This should work. So if we look at the monster primers, right? Item ID. Monster primers. Where does it refresh the display data? See, that refreshes the egg list. Uh, Primer and focus. I think I'm fading out here. I think I need to grab a coffee and some lunch. I'm having a hard time figuring out why this isn't working. I hope to play your Goobuddies game once it's out and see if my son would like it. Hey, I appreciate that. I want this. I want this game to just be so fun. This is my dream monster game. I've wanted to make a monster game forever. I'm basically filling this with all the stuff that I personally... Look at the mutation you got! I need to figure out why the egg is not displaying the right one there. Doesn't seem right. I don't know why it didn't work. I'll have to figure it out after. Let's check out our stats. Let's see our friends. This guy's got a fun little... Let's feed him. We're going to fill him up with food. We're going to give him a sandwich. Jelly? Hey, oh, I want him to turn around to face the viewer so we can see them eat it because it's cute. Eat one of these. Sort of absorbs the jelly. Yum, yum, yum. Eat it up. Let's feed this guy. He's brand new. Let's feed him. Oh, he's facing away. Okay. Oh. All right. We'll do one more thing before I wrap it. There's something that I need to do here. So he's born with Slime Shot and Slime Ball. You see, he doesn't get access to other elements. His element is slime. He cannot learn fire or ice or anything. He can only learn moves that are in his move pool, unless they're in training. See how you have training here? So we can learn actions that are in training, but there are non-elemental stuff. So there are sound-based moves, there's speed-based moves, but there's also magic and phantom. Magic and phantom, you can learn that. Even if you're light element, normally you can only learn light element stuff, but you can learn magic and phantom. And then you can learn other stuff as well. You can learn slime. So there's a couple rules to the element system here. It's not a rock, paper, scissors system. It's totally different. Is Unity still affordable for a small studio? Absolutely. How you going, Lady Blah Blah? It's free. Unity's free. If you're making up more than 100,000 a year, then you have to pay for a license. But Unity is great for a small studio. Okay. And then if we look at the eggs for the Goobuddies that were just born, the branch. Their stats should be, let's hatch another egg, right? So this one says more defense, more power. What's this one? More intelligence. Let's hatch. That's the wrong egg. That's the wrong visuals. So I need to see what the deal is. Why that's not proper now. It just ain't right. I think I need to put a -1 in there. I'm such a goofball. I need to have lunch. That's the problem. Now, if we have a look at his stats, see in this, I'm looking at the stables. This is the one that just hatched, right? This one here, his egg said he would have more intelligence, and he was born with more intelligence. That works. I know what's going wrong. I know what I done wrong, and I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it good. I'm fading out. Uh-oh. I've lost track of where I was. I need to eat some food now. I'm gonna search for primer. Is it that where? Do I need to go to the hatchery? This is bad. People are gonna see what it looks like when I haven't eaten anything today. Actually, I went straight to the shop to pick up the Pokemon game, and then I started work. I haven't eaten anything. Probably bad. That's bad to do. Um, I know how to fix this. I just need to. This is why I drop ASDIF tags where I need them. ASDIF, ASDF. That's not an official thing. I drop them there because it creates a compilation error, so it's easy for me to find where I need to go. You see that red marker there? I call it an ASDIF tag. It's fast. Just roll my hand across the board. I didn't drop myself a tag, so now I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Girl. I'm gonna try this. This is embarrassing. I need food. I need food real good. The item ID, I think that needs to be a -1. That's gonna work. That will work. I might just leave it there. Question: coffee or tea? Answer: both. Not at the same time, though. I had a coffee tea where someone put a coffee bag into my coffee, and I said, I don't like to complain. I don't want to be rude. I'll have the coffee tea, thank you. I have Earl Grey with a little bit of cold water added in, so I can drink it immediately without having to wait. And I'll have a black coffee, as black as it gets. This is going to work. I am confident. It worked. Oh, right. We will also get a lot of the old VHS tapes of Disney. I watched Toy Story, I think 98 times in the course of one summer when I was a kid, when I first got Toy Story. Got to keep the OG stuff. Physical is the best way to go. You know what I've been watching a lot recently? I've been mostly watching media from the 60s and 70s, just old TV stuff like documentaries from the BBC, just features, where they talk about daily life or an aspect of daily life. And it is so fascinating. It's so interesting to me. But that's partly why I started wearing clothes from the 60s and 70s is I agree with their way of life, their attitude, their mentality. They have this hopeful mentality towards the future and this idea that we should treat other people with respect, and to treat other human beings, to try to elevate our fellow man, to elevate ourselves. And so I started collecting clothes from the 60s and 70s, um, and I'm gonna be honest, I really like the pants. I like the pants from the 60s and 70s. I think they look cool. Uh, my old family has a cold, so mint tea with honey, please. Oh, put honey in the tea. Now I never put honey in my tea, but what I will do is I'll put boiling water. I'll put tea, not tea. I'll put honey and lemon juice. Oh, that's nice. Have you seen the Sting or Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? I haven't. I'll look them up. You know what I really enjoyed? I was watching either The Outer Limits or Twilight Zone. That's it. Oh, the whole family. Yeah, they're fun to watch. Let's hatch another egg. So you can see the elements here. And then throughout the game, you can get your hatchery upgraded and you can add egg sensors and they will tell you. So you can have a talent for your egg. So outside of the egg itself, the physical shape of the egg changes. Uh, well, the physical shape gives you a boost, but you can have a talent and you affect the talent of the egg by exposing it to different environments. So you can have one of your stats just naturally grow faster than other stats because of the way you expose the egg to different environments. This one's my water egg. Let's see what it turns into. Of course, there's going to be animations and special effects. Here's my little fella. He's fun. And now, uh, we'll hatch one of these. These are set. These have a random chance to have a mutation. So let's see what the fire sort of mutation the fire one has. Oh, he doesn't. Something's broken. He's meant to have a mutation and he doesn't. So I have to fix that. It wasn't working earlier, but now it's not working. So I don't know why it's not working. I'll have to fix that. Only two films with Robert Redford. Oh, Robert Redford's fantastic. Paul Newman. They would have done a third film together, but due to cancer, Paul Newman could not do it all. I was just watching a bit about it, the Twilight Zone episode. Robert Redford is in it, and he plays Death. He looks like a young man who has to convince an old lady to accept death because it's a part of life. It was sad, beautiful episode. And I want to know why my mutation is not working. So let's figure it out because that's important to me. It was working, but now it is not. It was working, but I've broken it. Oh, yeah. I have broken it. Target mutation is equal to 0, greater than 0. Okay, target mutation percent. The die roll has to be less than or equal to, and the core mutation. I feel I'm gonna drop some debugging tags in here, some flags. This was working. I've done something to break it. Let's go flag 1, flag 2. So we're just going to see if these flags are being triggered. I should have launch. Do you have a rough timeline on when you want to finish making your game? I really need. It's going to launch early next year. This will be done. I probably need about 6 to 8 weeks more. And it just depends on how much stuff I want to cram in. You know, like you could close up a box before the box is full, and that's just how it is with games. I want to fill this box with as much stuff as I can. Um, but you know, this is how I make my living, and I have to get new games out. So now that is fascinating. No debugging flags were triggered. So that means that this was not called. It means the target mutation is equal to 0. I'm going to look at my save data. Even though I had defined it, there should be a target mutation. This is placeholder code. Something doesn't seem right here. I know what I'm doing wrong. See, the mutation percent is 100. I know what I've done wrong. It's when I added the probability. I put that inside because then it's always 0. No, thank you. Okay, we'll finish this up. I absolutely need to have lunch. I better eat something healthy. I've been eating awful. I've been eating so awfully recently because I need to take in calories. I work till very late. I wake up. I'm doing the videos because people told me they really like the YouTube videos, so I'm going to keep doing them. Uh, it's fun just talking about stuff with people, but I just want to make people laugh. So I have to wake up early to do the videos. I have to work very hard. I've been working very late. I worked until 2 last night because I really wanted the eggs hatchable. I've made a lot of progress on this stream actually. So now when I hatch this, he should have a mutation. He's set to 100%. But yeah, in order to work long hours, I have to take in a lot of calories. It did not work, and I'm quite beside myself. Why didn't it work? Oh, the cursor's floating. What is the cursor doing up there? You can see the cursor poking up. So what went wrong? The dive. No. Oh, see, I'm being a goofball. I'm being a goofball here. This is what happens when you don't eat anything all day long. The die roll is greater than 0. Hold on. No, I've done. This. I don't know why that doesn't need to be in there. That's what. That I should have instantly. I should have instantly identified what was wrong. But this is what happens when you don't. I have 5 hours of sleep and I haven't eaten anything today, so I'm gonna wrap up the stream pretty soon. Fourth I've had this week. They are not bad. I just ate ham and cheese croissant from. Oh, bipedal species. I would. Why do you have to say that? I love a croissant. I have an air fryer. You know what I've been doing is I've been putting croissants in the air fryer. Oh man, why'd you have to? I want to go and get. I'm gonna get croissants now when I go to the shop. Now that you said that, I love a croissant. They're so buttery and smooth. You fill it up with butter. You close it up. You let it melt. Yeah, put ham and cheese in there. I like a good croissant. This is gonna work now. This is gonna work. I rarely buy games day one due to bugs and wait a week to buy the game. That's a good choice. This little spring coil. What would benefit a developer more? Day one buy or give to a week? It doesn't benefit the developer one way or the other whether you get it day one or a week later. I only got it day one because a good buddy of mine wants to play the new Pokemon game with me, and that's our one of our ways we hang out. I only see him on birthdays and on Pokemon launch days. So when a new game launches, we hang out, we eat a bunch of junk food, and then we play the game and we do the battling and whatnot. Yeah, we just have fun. Now, my game doesn't normally chug like this, but I have a bunch of things running. Like I have OBS, I have the YouTube stream, and the game is now chugging. It doesn't normally chug like that. I heat my stuff with the air fryer. Remember a few months ago we spoke about air fryers? Yes, I'm a big supporter of air fryer. I am team air fryer. You know what? I used to be old and curmudgeonly, and I would say no to the air fryer. But I've changed. You know, we can change as people. We can grow and we can become better. And now I'm an air fryer supporter. Mainly thinking about when I buy your game in the future. Oh, I really appreciate that. That really means a lot. You know, whether it's day one or day two or anything like that, or week, um, whenever you pick up the game, it benefits the developer whenever you pick it up. You know, there isn't a right or wrong way to support a developer. It's whatever you can do. It's whatever you want to do and however you can manage. You know, and there are some games that I really want, but I have a tough time um, justifying buying a game. You know, here in Australia, it's like 90 bucks, 100. It was like $100 for the new Pokemon game in Australia, but at EB Games, and I just checked Big W, and Big W had it for $85. So I've saved a little bit of money by picking it up from Big W. See, the frame rate is chugging, and Windows is doing all kinds of stuff right now. Salty Ball. Why did I name? Why did I name it Salty Ball? I'm imagining a giant ball of solid salt. I think that's what I thought. I'm sure that's what it is. I need to look at my documents. There's going to be a secondary effect for this. I know there's a secondary effect for this. I think it's meant to be a giant ball of salt, like you just chucked it. And I think maybe like it's sort of like a silica packet, like it dries out the other Goobuddy. I think that's what that is. I got an air fryer as a wedding gift 4 years ago and still have not used it. Is it? It's once you know what? I'll let you just decide. But once you start using the air fryer, you'll find that you'll use your microwave way less. You know, and your oven, you use your oven way less. You can cook stuff very fast and it comes out crispy. I don't add oil or anything to my air fryer. You know, your crisps, your chips, your French fries, your potato scallops, chuck them in the air fryer, 15 minutes. They're crispy and golden. Oh, fantastic. I better wrap up the stream here. I need to eat something now. So I'm just going to Time Stranger, isn't it? Um, Now what's cool, if I put this on standby, if I close the screen for Time Stranger, they do the training at the farm, so then I could just go through the list. Let me back out of there. And you see it populates since so and so is done training, so then I can just open it's not on the camera. I open my list. I got a lot of Digimon training in there. And just go like this. Down, down A, down A, down A, down A, down A. Okay, now that everyone is training again at the Digi Farm, I close the GPD WinMax, and then I come back in half an hour. So that's how I've been playing Time Stranger, because I have to work. I have to make my games. I can't afford to just stop to play games. But with Time Stranger, you can see I can train Digimon in the play, and it's sitting here off to the side, so I can run around a little bit, do some battles with one hand. I can code, I can do my work here with my right hand, and I can play Time Stranger with the left. So hopefully with Legends ZA, hopefully that I can play that one-handed, just run around and do some battles. But I think I can't, right? Because you have to do the dodging and everything in the real-time battle system. What is the thing you are using to play Digimon? It's the GPD Win Max. It's a Windows 10 machine. The screen is massive. It's and it's vibrant. It's an OLED or whatever. You get your shoulder buttons there. It has the candy style face buttons. This is really nice. It's really comfortable. And the screen is honking. It's a honking big screen. It's comfortable. I'm getting older. I have a hard time looking at a Game Boy Color screen, right? But something like this, mm, very nice. No preheating the oven either. You got it. The air fryer starts up, ready to roll, baby. Yeah, rye. I strongly recommend. You know what? Get yourself, like your French fries. Put them in there. Fantastic, crispy, nice. You're gonna find that you're just gonna try to put everything in the air fryer. I I barely use my microwave now. That's if I'm gonna heat up leftover Chinese food or something. If you have leftover pizza, ooh, put the pizza in the air fryer. Chicken nuggets will do it absolutely. Are you going to add brown texture to your game as an Easter egg? I feel gross, right? Like it wouldn't be a big deal, but the little icon it's a poop. It's the shape of a little brown poop, and it says it's brown texture. And I've been referring to dog poop as brown texture now. When will you stream next time? I'm not sure. Probably next week. I have a lot of work that I want to get done on this game, and I have like life stuff. I have a friend asking me to join him again for we volunteer and play music for an old folks home. I mean, he's I haven't been going over the past couple months because I've been so busy with this, but he's asking me to go and join him there again, so I will resume that. But I really want to get this game done, and I really want to get as much stuff in this game as possible. I need to finish the battle system. I've made a massive amount of progress. Like today we didn't even have all of this, so I still have a lot of graphics to do, all the particle effects, all the special effects, a lot of visuals still. And I want to see if there's time I can add another family line. I want more species, more Goobuddies. I think they're so cool to look at. They're fun to make. I just want more. So yeah, all right. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I really appreciate you hanging out and spending some time. It's been great hanging out with you all. Okay, I'm going to have some lunch and then I'll get back to work. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Get my buddies here before I go. They're hungry. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I'll see you around.